Welcome back to another Thunder Gun Classic. I'm Thunder, this is the Classic, and today we are doing the quarterfinals of the High Noon Havoc. Let's go, baby. I hope you guys are excited. We got our S-tier killers today. You're going to see some Billy, you're going to see some Blight, and then you're going to see some Billy, and you're going to see some more Blight. A lot of these guys have chosen Billy and Blight, like, all the way down the list. But we might have some surprise nurses, maybe even a spirit showing up. This is going to be a crazy, crazy day of S-tier mania, guys. Now, I want to show you something, get everybody going on what has been happening recently. Let's go ahead and pull this up over here. This is how our tournament has gone through so far. We got Gamblers moving their way all the way down against Suffocate. You can see the pathway they've gone through. Mirage and Nox's. Suffocate has gone through Effigy and the Locker Gremlins. They're going to start off head-to-head. Gamblers and Suffocate. Both of them strong-ass teams. We got Courage going through the Scarlet Hedgies and Renegade. It was a tough path. They've made it here, and they're making a statement. They're a strong team. And we got Prism going through Soup and Hysteric, showing up to dominate the winner's bracket, guys. But don't count out our other teams. We got Effigy and we got Somo Soup Uwu down in the underdog bracket. They are ready to fight their way back up to the top and show everybody that you shouldn't second guess them. They are going to win it all. I hope you guys are excited. This is going to be crazy, but we only got these matches. So Gamblers and Suffocate, you guys are up first. Gamblers, you have the top seed. So I want you to tell me if you want the 1 or the rocket ship when I do the coin flip. Courage and Prism, you will be the next setup. After that, the loser of match 15, which is this one right here, Gamblers or Suffocate, you will go against Effigy. So you will get a 1-round break, get a little breather, get ready, and then you're against Effigy. Round 4 will be the loser of round 2. So Courage or Prism, you will come down here and go against Somo Soup Uwu. So just keep an eye out for who wins, who loses. If you win, it's one and done today. Get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow you got the semifinals for both the underdog bracket and the winner's bracket. Then we go over here to the grand finals of the underdog bracket, and then it moves us up to the best of 3 for the super grand finals of everything. We're just going to keep adding adjectives and everything to it, make it sound even more badass by the time we get to the end. We got Amir says rocket ship for the Gamblers. Let's take a look. Let's spin it. We're going to flip it. We're going to flip the coin, and we are going to get a 1. So that is going to put us with Suffocate. Do you guys want to be killer or survivor first? Please let us know. Get your butts in here, and we can get that going. But in the meantime, let's announce our commentators. We do have a fan favorite coming back. You may know him, you may love him, but his name is Nugs, and don't try to dip him in barbecue sauce. What's up, Nugs? How you doing, brother? wait. That don't hear you. One second. To change this real quick. Bear with me. Alright. Say something.
We here.
Yeah,
we're stream's coming through. Awesome. Hello. What is wrong with barbecue sauce, Thunder? I love me some barbecue sauce. Me personally, if I'm getting them from McDonald's, though, I do love that sweet and sour. That is perfect. I am here once more on this day 3 of the High Noon Havoc. I am excited to be back, excited to be casting some more. And again, we got some lovely teams, as Thunder has said. We should expect some great matches today. I am very, very excited, Thunder. I cannot wait for these games to start.
Oh, me too, but we do have to wait 1 second. We got Survivor first from Suffocate. So Gamblers, get your killer ready, set up the match, and send me an invite, and we will get going with that. But in the meantime, let's announce our duo cast commentator. You may know him, you may love him, you may fear him. His name is DrPatchez. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. It's been a while. It's been a while since we we're able to talk about a tournament and watch some beautiful, beautiful gameplay. So we're super excited for tonight, and hopefully we can get some good matches going.
Well, this one's going to be exciting, guys. We got our first one up is going to be Gamblers as the killer, and the Gamblers are going to be Blight. So what do you both expect? Starting with you, Nugs, what do you expect from a Blight? Now, this is your local Jesus, and I happen to know he's a very strong Blight player.
Yep, as I said on day one, Jesus is one of my teammates, and this guy on the Blight is very, very strong. He can hit those flicks, he can move around, he knows his way on the Blight, he just knows everything to do with him. He's been on that Blight grind, and I expect him to show that he's been on that grind with this game against Suffocate on the Survivors, and we'll just see how he performs. I expect something around. You're usually seeing that 4 kills on these kind of S tier sets. I'd still say 4 kills is likely, especially from Jesus, especially on a suffocation pit where you have a 3-gen setup on either side. So I'd say a 4K is a very good result for the Blight. However, Patches, what do you think is going to be happening with this Blight set?
I think Jesus plays a really good Blight, and the survivor groups are going to have to keep rotating around the clock, because if Jesus catches you standing in one spot for way too long, he's going to find you. They're going to have to keep their head on a swivel. The suffocation pit, the rework of it is nice. It allows it to breathe in the center. It used to be really congested in the center and a nightmare for killers, but having some of that rework done will make it play really interesting.
And we're missing one person from Suffocate. We're getting everybody loaded in. Awesome. Good question. Yeah, so the deeper voice, that is DrPatchez. And Nugs is somebody that's been here a couple times already, so you should recognize his voice.
The one and only Nuggy.
And that is correct. We got Suffopit 1 is the one that the Blight is on. So this is going to be interesting. It is quite a... Isn't it a bigger match? Or a bigger map for Blight? So is that going to cause any problems? Do you think? Or do you think Blight's just so much speed that it's not going to matter?
Hell yeah!
I believe in a typical sense, it won't really be a problem for the Blight, because, for one, if Jesus plays how I expect him to play, he's mainly going to be on one half of the map, trying to defend that half from whatever 3-gen is there. And then the second reason I have is that he's very speedy. He can go from main to shack so fast. It's just... with one use of his power, 5 rush tokens, and he's already at shack. He can find people like at the other side of the map very quick. If he doesn't find anyone, he can easily just run back to the side he wants to be on.
All right, looks like we're getting ready. I'm excited to see this. This is gonna, like, this whole day, just high tier killers, high tier teams, just going at it. We should see a lot of really crazy setups, and I hope we see some crazy, like, crouch techs and some other maneuvers to pull out. My favorite that a survivor can do against the Blight, the old-fashioned DC tech. So let me bring that up for you guys. I know that's a little bit of a joke, but today we are allowing survivors to DC in one scenario only, guys. If the game is 100% unwinnable at that point, all remaining survivors are on a hook, rather than sit there for 90 seconds for the game to end. Since we already know the way the game is going to end, we're going to allow everyone to DC. So in that instance only, do not DC before that. You know, in case the survivor wiggles or what have you, wait till everyone is on a hook before you DC. Since we have a lot of S tier killers, that's probably going to happen today. 4%ing is not allowed in a comp tournament. That is something we may allow in the future, but we're doing this as much of a comp style tournament as possible. Thank you for the alert, Super. Thank you for the raid, Alt Gamer. I appreciate you. Welcome in, guys. We are in the middle of the High Noon Havoc. We are loading in. We're checking the ping, and then we're going to get to it. This is exciting. The first matchup of the day. Who do you guys think is gonna win? Can I get mods? One of the mods to do a prediction on whether or not Gamblers or Suffocate's gonna win, so we can put some moonshine up on it. Let's gamble on this, baby.
Gambling! Woo!
All right, ping is under 200 is acceptable. Let's get in. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. We are now here on the Suffocation Pit, the good old eye-shaped map that everyone knows and loves, the one and only. We see our white generators blocked there, revealing Jesus' first perk, which is going to be the Corrupt Intervention, and already had an early tag onto our Ada, now onto our Renato. Patches, how do you think this early game is already going for Jesus?
He's got a little bit of pressure building. He's making some quick work of some outlying areas, but he's forcing the survivors to come to him and not sweating the white guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier in the game with that first tag onto Ada, we did see our Ada trying to cleanse our Hex totem that we saw with that red aura, which is now gone. Gonna be cleansed at the top side of the map. Now we just have the one at logs to work with. Now onto our base here. One of these guys and is gonna go down inside of the shack. We see Jesus' generator spread. A lot of gens near the top side and a couple at the bottom. Gonna be hooking Walker into the basement. And already, very good start for Jesus. This guy has a good amount of pressure, but a good start for these survivors too, getting rid of both Hex totems.
Yeah, being a couple perks down is not going to hamstring this Blight. This Blight is, he probably could win perkless on a good day. So I think finding those totems were definitely clutch. It'll definitely help out the ghosted gens, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will definitely see if this helps. We see Goofy going into the locker to avoid Jesus' rushes, and it does work out, being able to get that pallet stun, and the unhook onto Spectral does happen. Jesus going right back to the basement, wants to get that tunnel out, make that 3v1 occur nice and quickly. Already healed though. Whoever got that rescue, likely our Jake here, Cyber AI, healing Spectral very fast. Oh, very nice dodge from Spectral there. Barely whiffing from Jesus' side. Gonna be getting the tag onto Spectral as he falls into the basement, but luckily with that speed boost able to get right back out, and a hit through the pallet.
The McDonald's Wi-Fi hit, a classic. We definitely love it.
Oh yeah,
when
definitely.
you get those 50-50s like that, it is always a pain when you're the survivor.
The key thing about the survivors there is they were able to get away from basement, right? And basement is such a hamstring in these scenarios.
Yep, definitely. The basement is very deadly, especially on an S tier killer, because of being able to body block the stairs and being able to two-tap survivors very easily. So Jesus going to have that hook in the middle of the map is still good for him, as it's roughly in the middle, but it's better for the survivors since they don't have to go into the basement.
Correct, and you see the yellow gen, right? So that eruption will definitely come into play as he starts downing people and injuring survivor groups.
Yep, eruption, for those that don't know, every time you kick a gen, it activates on that generator, and then when you down a survivor, that gen blows up again, reducing generator progress by a whole 10%. That's 9 seconds of progress gone, which when paired in groups will be very useful for Jesus to get that regression started. Now, we do see Spectral getting chased once more right off that hook, and Boofy was there trying to take the hit. Unfortunately, does not happen, and Walker does end up going down. Jesus also gets the tag onto Boofy for it, and with Cyber getting healed, Jesus knows that there shouldn't be anyone nearby, but Boofy is able to come back in time to get that pallet save, and is going to be taking that down for Spectral. Jesus, however, no mercy, still wants Walker dead.
Yeah, these survivor groups need to keep stealing pieces of cheese from old Jesus here. That pallet save definitely extends the chases, and it definitely frees up more time to progress the gens. There's still only one gen done though, so these survivors are starting to run out of hooks fast.
Yeah, very quickly, as we already see our first death, and especially as a high gen count as 4, this is looking very good for Jesus. We saw them trying to do some gen progression at the middle of the map, and here in this corner of the map here, trying to get this gen done. But unfortunately, Cyber is going to get found in a dead zone area, so that will result in a tag. And with how fast Jesus can catch up, this could be a down as well, and it is.
Yeah, getting caught in this area is like the barren desert, right? This is such a dry area against a speedy killer, and the best part is he's just going to leave him down, which is awesome. It means somebody else has to go into that dead area.
Yeah, exactly. Just getting that slug going. Jesus here just doesn't want to pick up Cyber. He wants to force the survivors to go pick up Cyber himself, unless by the power of an Unbreakable he is able to pick himself up, in which I do believe that was the case, as we do allow Unbreakable here for these S tier killers, which once per trial you get up off the ground for free, and that will help the survivors try and build up that pressure back up to a favorable amount for against Jesus here.
Yeah, in that 4-gen grouping near Noon and the main building, that grouping is good RNG for this killer, and it's really hamstringing the survivor group, especially being down a survivor already.
Yep, exactly the point. And Cyber did a good job, still keeping that chase bottom. That we see our aura reveals from Eruption that will reveal the other 2 survivor positions as to where they were working, which was that middle and dead zone gen. Our Ada working the dead zone, Renata working mid gen. And Jesus, with this intel, just immediately gets that insane pressure on the survivors. The main survivor's goal in a situation like this would at least have one survivor be trying to stealth around, maybe pick up Cyber, and then get some gens done, which they still managed to do, don't get me wrong. But having those auras revealed made it a very much more difficult job.
Yeah, at 6 o'clock, right, you have one gen, and then you have that straight line of gens where he's able to basically patrol at such a fast rate. Definitely got a little lucky with gen placement here, and these survivors are slowly running out of options. We suspect they already used their Unbreakable. The one pallet save you're probably going to get against this killer. Like, the cards are almost fully played out here. They need to score as many points as they can before this one's over.
Yeah, at this point, they just gotta play for those gens. Such a high gen count right now is not good for the survivors. They want to crank those gens out, and Jesus here definitely isn't letting them, that's for sure. Jesus is not letting them do that mid-gen as much as they want to. A nice locker 2 comes in from Cyber, going to be forcing him out of the locker. If Jesus chooses to slug this, that's like double the amount of time that is wasted in which he does, because you need to force that locker animation, which is roughly 4 seconds, and then dropping the survivor is an additional 2 compared to that 2.7 second wipe animation that killers usually do after getting that M1 hit. So very good play by Cyber, avoiding that slug, and our Renato doing the same exact thing, just not allowing Jesus to be able to slug for free.
Yeah, if a blade isn't running, he's not working, right? And so if he's having to do all these little other things, that is alleviating some of the pressure on the survivor group to try to get something done. But we did see a juke out of the Ronaldo, which was really nice. He got Jesus to swing through one, and then back through the center tile here. That's a good place to be against a blight.
Yeah, with how suffocation hit one is, you got a bunch of tiles in the middle. That is very good to keep chase. Usually, chases can be held for very long in the middle part if connected correctly and played correctly. And these survivors definitely able to keep Jesus in the middle of the map, trying to keep that chase there as they work their way to whatever death spot they want to go to. A nice juke from Boofy running into Jesus and making him swing past him, which very well played. Trying to go for a crouch tech, but Jesus does read it, and that will be everyone injured now. These survivors now worried about quick chases from just... Oh, go on, Patches?
No. Yeah, everyone's injured now, so now they're going to be even louder. It's going to be easier to see and easier to find. And I think we need to see another gen pop here from the survivor group. They're doing a really good job at distracting, but they just need to get some pressure on these gens if they want to try to put up a score.
I do believe that the main good news for these survivors is that middle gen there has maxed out on those regression events. Jesus can no longer regress that generator, and it's already high progress. So with that being said, these survivors can, maybe take their time a little bit more, because that gen should generally get popped soon if they didn't allow these tags to happen. Unfortunately, Renato getting caught right by that generator, and now it's just Cyber trying to finish what I believe the Shack generator here, as we see that progress on it. Just trying to get that 4 kills at 2 generators, which is still very good for gamblers, but it's better for Suffocate as it allows these kinds of things. But unfortunately, we do see Cyber, and that will be all survivors slugged. We still have a chance at a deliverance, but it's very likely going to be a 4 kills at 3 generators.
He's got to pick the right one, right? if there is a deli play, right, we got to play a little roulette. We have a little gambling going on. So he's just going to do this one at a time. There's no rush here. This is part of the process, and the Blight definitely played well. Having those 3 gens in an eye right down the center really helped the Blight and his speed ability to go back and forth and control. And it's too bad that they couldn't finish that center gen.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, because if there was any gen that I was hoping would get complete for Suffocate, it was definitely that one. As, like I said, it can't regress anymore, and it was just so close to being done. The survivors had this 4K2, but unfortunately, just getting found in the wrong spots did cause that gen to unfortunately not get complete. I wonder what we'll see from Suffocate's Billy, though.
Well, the craziest thing, right, with the rework of this map.
He was the deli! Oh my god.
So
Jesus was right!
Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can make this swing. Let's see if we can get some distance here and get the survivors up. I think he's going the wrong way a little bit. This will be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do love this strategy though, because the guys and the individuals on the ground are able to spread out, and for points purposes, right, the killer is gonna have to find him and hook him. So by him running to that corner allows more time for them to spread out and try to save as many points as they can.
Yep, absolutely. These bleed out rules are not the typical ones you'd see, as a fresh bleed out results in 1, the fresh hook is not given, and 2, a hook stage is taken off, the death hook stage. So we found Boofy, but if our Renato bleeds out, that would result in 11 stages and 3 fresh hooks, which means that Suffocate can still 4K3 and take that win, which is possible in something like the Hillbilly. If like if the survivors make mistakes and the killer plays into those mistakes very well, that could definitely happen. Don't get me wrong. So I'm excited to see. It looks like our Renato is going to bleed out though. So it's looking
Which
like
is
that will be.
incredible, right? That the fact that Jake decided to go to the corner instead of trying to help his friends out, right? Points are always the important thing here when you play in a competition. Even if you're not scoring with doing gens, you're preventing points by trying to die on the ground, right? Believe it or not, you want to die on the ground.
Yeah, it's something you usually definitely don't hear in pubs. Like, you never hear, hey, let me bleed out when you're in a public game. But here, very different story, so hey.
Yep, and I think what allowed that play to happen was the miss, right? Jesus missed the Jake in between the rocks and the tree, and that allowed him to get to the corner, obviously buying more time. And that just the small things in comp are what can change the tide in a matchup.
And as they alluded
Yeah,
to
earlier,
they do not get the fresh hook, and they lose 1 hook state. So the win condition going into the next matchup, barring any penalties from the builds, will be 2 gens and 12 hooks. Will be the balancing factor. So basically, if our next killer allows only 2 gens, but he gets 12 total hooks, they win. If 3 gens pop, then the gamblers will win. So that is our win condition going into the next matchup, guys. I'm not seeing any issues with the builds. You guys let me know if anybody else sees any issues, but I think we're good to go.
Nugs, in your experience with competition, how high is the anxiety the minute the win condition is established?
well, obviously that depends on the win condition, but I presume you're kind of talking about a win condition like this. It definitely puts a toll. If I'm like a survivor here, or no, a survivor needs to pop 3 gens. If I'm a killer here, then there's definitely that stress factor that comes in, as usually in these kinds of sets you see a 4K at 1 generator, so needing to prevent more gens, kind of holding a 5 gen, so to say, in order to get this win, definitely puts a lot more stress, as that's more survivors able to do separate gens. There's 5 gens for you to defend compared to that 3. But I don't want to get that stress to me that makes me have or make mistakes. I don't want to make mistakes because I'm stressed, so just try to calm down, stay calm. It's just a game at the end of the day.
Yeah, and with a killer like a Blight or a Billy, they move fast, right? They're not there's not a whole lot to them. There's not a whole lot of mechanics to what they do, but you can easily snowball a couple of bad misses into a huge problem. And so I'm really curious to see if this killer stays cool, calm, and collected, and just does Hillbilly, right? Or Blight. What killer do we have coming up next?
This will be a Billy.
Yeah. So
The
we just need that this individual just do the Billy things, right? Cause pure chaos, fly through the map, and keep the pressure on. But again, with a killer like Billy, you hit a rock 2 times in a row, that stress is going to go through the level or through the roof.
Yep. I was formerly a Billy man, and definitely hitting those rocks, that bump timer, just feels like it's so much, even though it can be little, but in the early game it definitely feels like it's so much because of how important that first down is. That first down is just so important on these sets, how quickly you can get it, and how just generally you can go off of that first down. We'll see if that first down comes quick here. We'll see if this Billy has nothing to stress about at all. Who knows? We could see a 4K5 even.
Real quick,
Totally
as
possible.
we're loading in, Drax Yo, Sunandre D TV, and OC Bussy Man, thank you so much for the follows. Lorena, thank you so much for the resub.
I'm a goddamn cowboy, and I'll talk any
Tyranny
fucking way
Media,
I
thank
please.
you for the follow, homie. I appreciate you guys. You guys are all amazing. I hope you guys are having a fun time watching and hanging out with us during the tournament. Here we go. We're going into the next round. Let's check out the lag, make sure everything is good. It looks good. Let's spectate.
And exactly what I expected. We see a broken survivor gonna be having no mither. No mither. That the main perk here to counter the main style of Billy play in comp, which is slugging. You recover faster, and sure, you lose a health state, but in this kind of case here, that doesn't really matter all that much because you're playing against an insta-down killer. So while these healthy survivors can try and force an M1, Cyber here is going to be going for those chainsaws like we see here.
Yeah, this Billy seems to be under a little bit of control, and this Nancy is leading him on, right? We're walking the dog right now, and he needs to get this down quick, or he's going to start losing gens fast.
Yep, definitely. And we see no block gens, so Cyber here is very much banking on no corrupt intervention for that passive slowdown, instead bringing some different perks. The survivors have figured out at least one of these perks immediately with our saga being broken, and that is Bananaphobia. Being able to reduce gen speeds by a 2% stackage up to 4, and when you have that fourth stack, you get a bonus 12% up to 20. In competitive, you usually never heal against a Billy, hence again the no mither. So that's why Thanatophobia is kind of a popular choice here. So we'll see if Thanatophobia can be the make or break for a couple gens, maybe even some chases with that M1.
Yeah, I'm seeing the nerve to this Billy a little bit. That first chase with the Nancy, and then patrolling his perks, or this individual's perks. I think just need the chaos. I think we're getting a little too worrisome about perks, and you need to stop these gens.
Yeah, exactly. These gens just gotta get done. Or you gotta prevent these gens to get done from the killer's perspective. I'm stuck in survivors for a second. But yeah, you gotta try and prevent these gens to get done, and how you do it? You down people.
I don't know how that
on the
is.
floor. Like, I'm able to do that.
That was so unfortunate.
Doing amazing. That was an amazing play by Amir. Holy, Amir, showing he's a very strong survivor. And now we're back onto our Nancy Sora. He's going to be taking this chase all the way away from some gens, and Cyber's still worried about these gens. Just back at 6 o'clock here, we find Amir once more making his way to the filler, and Cyber's going to be trying to go for a curve. Unfortunately does not land, and can't swing in time. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
So at what point do you
Cyber
start
here.
M2 or M1ing, when you're running Thana?
Every chance.
Usually
Yeah, right?
only see, usually only see saws, but usually the M1s come in when you can't rev a saw in time for a pallet throw, so to say, but you can catch up to that survivor. So, like, if Furious wasn't able to make that window for an M1, you'd M1 there. But unfortunately, he did. Cyber struggling to get these downs. these survivors are just saying no to the chainsaw. They don't want to embrace it. Come on, guys, embrace the chainsaw.
Yeah, and what you were seeing here, right, is the problem with running Ruin, right? You can't kick a gen. You can't get that instant decrease in progression. And I think that's really hurting you here. It's just the slow grind, decompression or de-regression.
Yeah, Ruin's kind of that hit or miss. You have that hit part where you don't gotta kick them, you get to be lazy, you get to just, let it do its thing. It's still regressing the same speed. But then there's that miss part where that 5% would really be helpful in some situations. And that's where Ruin's just like, me no wanna. So it's kind of been a bit missy here. It's had its hit in its few places, but I think Ruin would have come off better not being brought in these cases. Obviously, Cyber didn't know that these cases would arise. It's Dead by Daylight. Anything can happen here. You never know what happens. So that's why we're going on Ruin.
We see Bamboozle too. Bamboozle on Billy is a really solid perk, but these tiles are all open. There's not very many window vaults here. It's a lot of pallets and a lot of just small new tiles here.
Yeah, definitely. Bamboozle, very popular perk on the Heavy Belly. You see this a lot, and kind of a fun fact here, before crowd control was buffed, it was allowed in these tournaments, but fortunately it's not anymore. It's a bit too much for the comp scene. Oh,
yes,
nice.
Get it down.
So you'd usually see those the crowd control instead of Bamboozle. Now you can't, so back to Bamboozle we go. I know a couple Billies actually that refuse to run Bamboozle and instead bring in a 4th regression perk, which is very interesting. I'm not against it at all. It's very interesting to see these kinds of plays, and there it is. That's the M1 situation I was talking about.
Yeah, you can see the. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing to point out is because the chat was asking where is Garafa. Garafa is well known as a very, very, very scary comp Billy, and Garafa unfortunately was not able to make it today due to unfortunate circumstances. So we do have Cyber stepping in, and that might be what's causing this Billy some issues. Maybe they weren't expecting to be Billy until the last minute, and they had to sub in for their teammate who already wanted to play Billy in this round. So just some thought out there. What do you guys feel of that happening? If you're in that situation, and you're not a Billy main, or maybe they are a Billy main. I don't know Cyber's situation, but they weren't expecting to play Billy today, and then all of a sudden their teammate couldn't make it. Now you're the one playing Billy. Yeah, Chad is saying he's not a Billy man, and you can kind of feel it a little bit. He's doing a great job, better than anything I would have done, obviously. But you can feel a few of the misses here and there, and you can feel some of it getting to him a little bit with some of those hits against this strong Survivor team.
You see the mouse play, right? The mouse plays really fast, and he's already starting to get there, and this killer's starting to feel it. And like I alluded to before the match, right? Once you miss a few of these chainsaws, it really starts to wear on you. And so watching this unfold the way it is, the Survivor group is doing really good at avoiding it.
Yeah, and especially if I'm not expecting to play a killer because someone else on the team is trying to or playing that killer, but then they can't make it. I know that I'm not gonna be performing up to standard because I don't play that killer that much. I might not know what I'm doing. I'm not saying Cyber doesn't know what he's doing. He definitely knows what he's doing. I'm just alluding to that fact that it is completely possible, especially on the more complex killers, something like Dredge, something like Unknown even. But I just know I might not perform up to standard. I don't want to get that to me. I'd see this more so as practice. You know, practice this killer. Maybe just get better as this killer, because these guys are good survivors. We see these survivors are just insane at Billy here, just not giving Cyber these downs. So I could take it as practice and become a better Billy for next time.
Yeah, and good call out from chat. Like, he is doing a really good job. It's just this survivor team was practicing and getting ready for a very, very, very strong Billy, and they set up and they plan for everything. So we're not saying negative against this Billy at all. So shout out to Cyber, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
The one thing that I had to learn with Billy when I was playing Billy is following through with your chainsaws. I see a couple times he ended his chainsaw just short and not getting a hit. And that's, you expect that frame to follow through, and you pull up and you just miss those hits. You got to basically run through the survivor.
Yeah, it's better to just hold down that M2 until eventually you hit that survivor, or you know you ran past that survivor, instead of trying to end it early and think that extra frame or two of hitbox window allows you to get that down. That's the main thing there. That when I was learning Billy, that's one thing you definitely gotta do. You can't expect that down, especially when it comes. A good example would be like early M1s on some M1 killers. Those kinds of things can very much get to you.
Yep. Yeah, and the win condition, right? The win condition adds the anxiety. Oh, so close. Adds the anxiety of a killer that has such a small window for error.
Yeah. And with that spectate onto Amir, I saw Cyber's fit. Huge shout out to Cyber. That is my fit right there.
Yeah.
I run that. So
Milkman Billy's best Billy.
that's even more respect from me.
Ooh, nice
I
curve on
love
that
Milkman Billy. And that was a nice curve right there. See, Cyber's just slugging here. He wants to get that Billy practice in. He knows that the win condition is met. He may be going to the underdog bracket, but he's definitely winning our arts.
So you're a Milkman Billy, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah, I love Milkman Billy.
This survivor group is really talented though. They are definitely playing the corners right. This map has a lot of little trees that can trip up the Billy.
Yeah, they're playing these edge maps very well, not allowing our Billy here to try and get those downs for free, kind of either forcing that M1 hit or on like healthy survivors like Sora right now, trying to prevent that 20% slowdown from Thanatophobia. Trying to prevent that curve and force that M1, maybe have that chase continue a little bit longer. These survivors have definitely practiced. They know what they're doing against a Billy, and they're definitely showing for it too.
Yeah, that pre-run sprint burst, that was so good. That just basically saved that survivor's health state there.
We saw tasty snipe. Let's go.
We do see nice crossbat. Like, Thunder just pointed it out. Nice crossbat from Cyber onto an unexpected Nancy. Just didn't see it coming. There's a guy with a chainsaw coming right for you. And this is our final survivor here, who is the only one able to get himself up, as I'm pretty sure we saw an unbreakable earlier into the trial. So 4 kills at 1 generator, very much the expected result on these sets. Cyber met that, so he's still performing like very much up to par. Not able to get the win con, sure, but up to par, absolutely.
This survivor is so good at running these tight corners. Using this split loop is so hard to do.
And that's where they messed up.
Yep.
Yep, losing that 50-50 there. Vault into the killer's arms, or you could run through and the killer might might expect you to not vault. You don't know what the killer's thinking. You just gotta gamble there. Unfortunately, lost that gamble. Gamblers losing gambles. Come on,
Imagine
guys,
that.
do
Imagine
better.
the gamblers losing the gamble.
Do better, guys. You're better than this.
So as we can see, Ada finished her bottle of NyQuil and is now officially taking a nap.
Yup, as per what Thunder previously said, with those bleed out rules, that will mean that is one less hook stage and one less fresh hook stage. But hey, nonetheless, still a very good result.
Yes. Couldn't squeeze the orange as tight as he wanted, or this individual wanted to, but still a really fun match. Watching this Billy zip across the board, these survivors just played it really tight. They didn't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely the next up-and-coming Garafa Billy right here.
Ooh, where did Amir
Still
get
got that
left?
4K one. I believe Amir went down around the shack area, so we'll see if Cyber here is either expecting Amir to have crawled to the very opposite corner, or if he's just crawling around the shack area here. We're now at shack.
Yeah, when you play the slug game, it's so hard to keep track of where you've downed everyone, especially with a killer that runs around the board, right? This Billy has made laps around this board, and remembering where each survivor you left is quite a feat.
Yeah, that remembering play, along with just running around trying to remember where other survivors are to get that game sense going as to where they could currently be. It's a lot of tracking involved, that's for sure. And I know a couple of people that can track like crazy, and I don't think I could get to that level, like, even within a year, because it's just so I want to say complex, sort of say, especially for a brain like mine, because I can't really remember that well. I usually would need someone to be in my ear trying to help remember for me. So, hey.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you, when you do play comp as a killer, do you play with a spotter or someone in chat, or do you keep it silent?
I
Because some
definitely
people have to focus up. Go ahead.
I definitely play with like some guy trying to be in my ear. It's kind of a mix of both. I have someone in my ear, but mainly for things among the lines of intel, so I can still run around, do my thing if I'm like a Billy, just sawing around, doing chases when I have to, and then that guy in my ear is giving me that intel, like, hey, you last saw the Ada here, this is where you left the ace last time, he could be here or here, so to say.
And can we get a shout out to our Billy stepping up for Garafa and taking the reins, so to speak, and jumping in there. They did a great job. They almost got the bleed out earlier on, just a few misses here and there. I mean, we were only 2 gens away, but it seemed like a lot closer. Those survivors were running for their lives. So thank you, Cyber, for stepping up and taking that spot. You did a great job. Better than 99% of us could have. So I really appreciate you doing that for your team. Moving on, Gamblers are going to win that round. Gamblers, you are done for the day. So get ready for tomorrow. You're going to have a lot of matches ahead of you. Suffocate, you're going to be going against Effigy in a little bit. But right now, we got Courage versus Prism. So, Courage is wanting the rocket ship. So we're going to go ahead and flip the coin so we can take a look at what we're doing here. There it is. Oh. Maybe. Maybe.
We're on the edge of our seats here.
All right. We're going to go with the rocket ship. I don't know what that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. So, all right, we got the rocket ship. Courage, do you want to be survivors first or killer first? And as far as normal stream stuff, guys, we won't do that till after the tournament. So we still got 3 more matchups before we're into a regular stream. All right, Xander's going to send me an invite. Let's get it. And for this matchup, Courage is going to be killer first. So Courage is going to have a Blight. What do you guys expect from a Blight matchup?
A lot of running. There's if killers had their Fitbits on, they're gonna rack a lot of steps in this part of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. He has a cane, but he doesn't really need to use it. He can run. He got them legs on lock. So we'll see that cane be more lethal instead of on the helping end for the Blight.
Interesting. Can you guys still hear us? Did DBD just crash? I think if you can still hear me, then yeah, it looks like DB.
Oh.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Wouldn't be a DVD game without little issues. Going back to the having someone in your ear, I'm a chaser when I play killer, and I have to have someone in my ear telling me like, hey, listen, you need to break off of this chase. You got other things to do, because I get so focused in on chasing a survivor, especially one that's doing well against me, that I have to be reminded, like, listen, there are 3 other survivors and gens you got to defend.
Yeah, sometimes you're more on that thrill of the chase instead of the objective at hand, which does make sense. I do love me some chases. That's how I play my pugs usually. Just going for chases, turning my brain off, trying to get better at the killer's power. So I completely understand you there. Gotta love me those chases, especially on some like more survivor-sided maps like Eerie, so to say.
Yeah, and that Nancy starting off the match with that long chase, right? Basically walking the dog, buying time for the survivors to get the gens done. That really set the tone, and that really put a lot of pressure on the Billy to either get the down or cut the bait and go on right to the next survivor. So really well done for that Nancy to set the pace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just bringing it in and keeping it going, and they kept that pace very well all the way until that final generator, where we usually do expect that 4K, and it did happen. So still up to par from Cyber's performance, still performed very well, got those nice downs, got survivors just ended up dying in the right spots to allow them to get to that one generator needed, and ending it off on a very nice note for Cyber, hitting some nice curves.
Yeah, and that cross map, right? That cross map on the pickup, that was clutch.
Yeah, that was definitely very valuable to Cyber, because that's the rotate, and no matter guys probably doing something else, you know. So that.
My question for you guys is, in this matchup that we currently have, where Xander's going to be a Blight, after seeing how Jesus' Blight performed, are you feeling like, hey, I can outperform that? Because he did allow 2 gens. Or are you feeling like, holy shit, this man's on another level, I just don't want to go out here and embarrass myself? What are you guys feeling if that's you, if you're in that position?
If I'm in that position,
yeah,
I'm going to let out a sigh of relief, be like, thank God we're not going against that Blight.
Fair.
Yeah, and so right, you have that competitive mindset, right? You're most of us are gamers. We want to compete, and when you see that kind of performance, right, you want to match that energy. It'll really come down to the RNG, the gen spawns, and to see how well Suffo Pit treats this killer. And yeah, if the survivor groups can get that center gen, it really opens up this board for a lot of pressure on the Blight.
So
Yeah,
me as a
absolutely.
competitor, what I'm doing, if I'm that Blight, right, is I'm looking at exactly how Jesus scored, and I want to allow 2 gens, but I get 12 hooks, so I can say that I beat Jesus by 1 hook. That's minimum my mindset, if not better.
And that's where, right, these teams get together and they have that spotter or the manager that's in the killer's ear, like, listen, we got to take one down at a time, one generator at a time. You can't let that lingering real estate be taken up by being a competitor and seeing what the last individual did, right? And keeping that focused mindset. These killers all are chaos killers, and you got to keep the chaos, run free and play loose, and you'll still have a really good outcome.
Yeah, very much.
And it looks
And
like our survivors are slowly getting
with
ready.
their blight, it's very possible too. It's very possible on something like the blight, so we'll see.
Yeah, the blight's a little more forgiving than Billy, right? Billy is a full send, right? You have that chainsaw and you have to swing, right? Whereas blight, you can bounce and readjust, and I think that adds to the power level of the blight, being able to run, take a break, see where you're going, readjust, and attack, right? The Billy is just a full send, so that margin of error is just so much smaller with Billy. And so it's always hats off for those that can actually do that at an effective rate.
Oh, here we go. Everybody's readying up.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind, guys, don't be surprised if the game crashes after what we saw loading in. If it crashes, we will have a reset. Because obviously, if we can't watch what's going on, then, we're going to have a reset of the match. But we're going to cross our fingers. We're going to knock on wood. We're going to hope everything goes through according to plan. But, behavior be behaving sometimes. And if I can get an exclamation mark behavior in the chat for all those little glitches we just had with DBD. Because it looks like the stream was perfectly fine. We didn't even drop any frames. It was just Dead by Daylight itself that was freezing up.
Let's go. Dead by Daylight, my favorite game ever. I love this game.
I think they're doing a pretty good job so far. Matthew Cote.
Yeah, you have a lot of moving parts in this game, right? There's so much content, so many things to level, balance. It's gonna have bugs, right? And we love the fact that they do try to fix these things.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the effort is there, but they definitely do mess up a couple things here and there, more often than not sometimes. But I at least like seeing them trying to fix these things. I think that's what makes them a relatively good company that is making Dead by Daylight. So I'm happy that these guys are doing what they're doing.
Now that right there, that hit looks like to me somebody that is a very good pub player that greeted that and got punished for it.
Yeah, you've got to throw in comp. You've got to throw. You got to expect a little bit of lag.
Yeah, like these pallets usually always just go down as soon as possible because of those kinds of things. You never know if people can make a corner due to something, and you don't want to give out those free hits at all. That's going to be resulting in just that injure, and the killer can either leave that chase quickly to go somewhere else to spread pressure that way, or just be able to commit to that down because you got that tag so quick.
So we see one gen popping, right? We're not really concerned with that gen, are we?
It was the middle gen,
really.
though.
It is the middle gen, but we see that there are 3 generators on both sides. They can be seen as a bit spread out, but you're still able to hold one side of the map, which is something you usually see on these kinds of sets, being able to protect one half from survivors trying to attack those generators, or and on the survivor side you want to at least get that gen spread, kind of like a 2-1, where there's 2 gens on one side and 1 on the other, so the killer can't really defend gens at all. No matter what, 1 gen is always going to be available.
Yeah, and the the spread here, right? This is kind of a spread out. It's not in line like the last time we saw the Blight play. So it's going to take a little more work for this Blight to actually defend these gens, because there's no inline gens.
Yeah, there's definitely like gens that are more spread out on such halves. Like you have one all the way in the 5 o'clock corner and one at the 8 o'clock area. Well, mainly like 2 at 7 and 8 o'clock respectively, and then here on the top side you have one all the way at 3 o'clock, and then there's another at 10 o'clock. So it's not very ideal, but it can still be held because of the way Blight is, especially with the yellow add-on we see at the bottom left that allows each rush token to come in 33% quicker, which is a whole 2/3 of a second, which can very much add up. So we'll see how the survivors play around this add-on once they figure it out. We usually don't figure out Blight add-ons though.
It's an interesting strategy from this team. They are protecting the survivor that has hooks on them already. And typically, right, you don't want to give up the fresh hooks. You want to save those points, stay on the gens, and put more pressure on the Blight. What we're seeing here is a lot of body blocking, which takes gen progression to another low, right? Because they're not working on a gen, they're body blocking. So interesting strategy from this team.
There's kind of 2 sides to these kinds of plays. Like the main side that I believe these survivors are looking at here when evaluating whether this is a good idea is the matter of fact that there's no pain resonance allowed in this tier here. So we're going to be seeing 0 pain resonances today. And there's also deliverance allowed. So there could be the idea that OG, our hit tanker there, was deliverance, and if he gets hooked, that is 0 pressure that the killer gains. If anything, it loses pressure because you don't need anyone to go for that on hook. So that would be very useful to crank those gens. And then it's also, you're trying to tunnel out that survivor, and getting him out of the game quickly allows for what am I trying to say here? 3 survivors at once. So that happening will be very good on the killer's side, as we saw with Jesus's play. Once that 3v1 started, they really couldn't get much done at all.
Yep, and this Blight is actually patrolling pretty solid, even though the gen spreads are really wide. This individual is doing their best to try to keep the pressure on these survivor groups.
I'm surprised they're getting gens done with how much they're body blocking and healing each other.
Getting them greats, baby.
Yeah, and there's also that power of gen efficiency when you have 4 survivors too. You could have 1 survivor helping the chase while 2 other survivors are on generators, and as we know, the longer the chase time, the longer these gens can get pumped, and sometimes that can be the make or break, like a hit tank or 2, or just allowing that chase to be extended for the target survivor to get somewhere, so to say, like a safe loot if they were in a dead zone or something.
Yeah, and this is the other center gen that this Blight has to defend, right? If we lose that gen, then it becomes complete split pressure, and it's all on the survivor score at this point.
Yeah, that gen right there are going to be holding that kind of difference between the final gen split. Very important generator, but with how split these 4 generators are, it's totally possible to kind of still ignore it in a sense, and you can pop that other corner generator at 7 o'clock. Completely plausible. I wouldn't be against it. But we just got to see how our Blight plays here now that it's a 3v1. Hopefully, doesn't let the pressure get to him.
Yeah, this is still a huge efficient run right now by these survivor groups. The amount of progress they're able to do, even though they're body blocking, has been remarkable. And this gen has no progress. They're not even going to touch that one. That's crazy. That's a high value gen. Yep.
Yeah. Teamwork are like they have those communications to be able to get those hit points and still get a good amount of gen progression. We saw OG, amazing play, making our Blight whiff and being able to force Locker, get him out of the locker in the basement. Just wasting so much time on that side of our killer here, who is also Deliverance, just wasting so much time, man. Holy, these survivors are efficient. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, that was a really smart play. We saw the ace make the save on the first down, right? And that's where you figure that was your deli guy. And having that in your back pocket, right? You have, as a survivor group, you have so many cards that you can play, and the survivor group's using it to the most efficient way possible at this rate.
Yep, getting these chases in. Autumn gonna be going inside the locker to avoid the rush, which delays the hit even further. So that just, we see scratch marks here too. These survivors definitely see this middle gen here as a high priority, but we also haven't seen OG at all. OG could be working any of those other two generators, just chilling, minding his own business.
Yeah, that gen is 7 o'clock, right? That's the high value gen because it's all the way across the board. That one is probably the target right now because you're so far away from the action.
Yeah, and it looks like we were working this generator, or no, this was 5 o'clock, actually. Preferring the 5 o'clock generator over 7 o'clock, likely because maybe he thought this pallet here was up, but it really wasn't, or there's maybe the possibility that both those generators are dead zones and 3 o'clock is the only safe generator that can actually be worked. You can get that distance going. We'll see if see if that's the case.
Defending this hook is so tough. You gotta get this kill here. We got another fresh hook. Is him on the ground?
Yeah, likely wanting to get OG out of this game. Preferably before Autumn is able to get on the 3 o'clock generator and be able to finish it. It's still 20 seconds away. I don't think you can get that done in time, and Autumn is thinking the same thing here. Just trying to stealth away from the generator to be able to try and bring this game back.
Oh, unbreakable. And now the full team is back up again. This is going to put so much pressure on this Blight. That unbreakable was so good.
Yeah, and so chat, real quick, can you guys explain to chat, those who've never seen comp before, why you keep bringing up time? Because they're confused at why you're bringing up 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. What does that actually mean for our pub viewers that have never seen comp before?
Okay, so we're saying times like 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock as a way to orient ourselves on a map. These maps are entirely randomly generated. The only thing that's guaranteed is what kind of thing is going to be there. Like, for example, the one at the TLs is always going to be a tile, but right by it, those logs, is always going to be a log or water tower. But we don't know these kinds of things. We don't know, there's no guaranteed kind of seed. All seeds are just entirely random. So we use the kind of clock map, so to say, in order to orient ourselves and be able to communicate where we are more effectively.
And so you generally orient, right? 12 o'clock usually main, and then 6 o'clock usually Killer Shack, right? They're always going to be exactly opposite ends of the map apart. So when you use the clock, right, you're able to just look at a map and you say, okay, Killer Shack is at 6, so there's a gen at 5 and 7, right? And then when the survivors, I don't know how these survivors are communicating when I play, we talk about, I have the killer at the tile at 4 o'clock, I have the killer at tile at 6 o'clock, right? That way survivors know where this killer is at all times.
Oh no! That miss!
And they get it. Hard fought by Prism, looking like it was all Jover. One unbreakable, man. One unbreakable, and we're currently here right now. That is what I call value.
That was insane. That was 1 pixel away from that hit. They needed that hit so bad.
The hardest part here is chasing this survivor and then knowing that Hatch is going to be on the other side on the other side of the board. This is going to be a fun little play here in this endgame.
Yeah, Cricket, that's a good idea. To put the clocks up on the map for future events. We don't have that set up now, but future comp style events like this, that's actually a great idea. So people can understand visually what we're talking about when we talk about the different clock locations. I'm a big visual learner myself.
I mean, it's completely possible. I could DM you the clocks like right after this game, and is it possible to set that up like while we're in between lobbies? Because I know our next map is the Blood Lodge. I can send you the Blood Lodge map to get there if we'd like to do that.
So what you see here is you see the 2 slugs now, right? This blight is gonna found one, which is gonna be interesting because of the hatch play here, right? Trying to prevent points, and everything about this match is all about points.
We had those out, so we're trying to not allow Snapply here to get that hatch, which always spawns here at the Killer Shack. We also previously saw Snapply at the Killer Snack, Killer Shack.
No, you were right. It's
She-
the Killer
yeah.
Snack.
Yeah,
There's a
oh,
fridge
man.
in there, and they got all the snacks. Got some Pringles, you know, got some dip, all the good
I love me
stuff.
some Pringles.
Your basement's a little bit different than mine.
My basement is filled with snacks, not hooks. These lockers here, all fridges.
So do we know how many points Snapply is worth right now? Because I have a feeling it's a fresh hook here.
It's a fresh hook. They're worth full points, and they found them. There we go.
Oh, found him.
She does get found. So that will mean that it'll just be Autumn escaping with, I believe, 1 hook stage. So that's a 10 stage result. So on
GG's to this killer.
yeah, GG's. This killer, these survivors, it was just so back and forth. We didn't know what the win condition was going to be. We didn't know if people were going to be escaping. We didn't know if a 4K was going to be happening. It looked like both results were simultaneously possible at the same time. That's how well both these teams played.
Yeah, it was definitely insane. It was definitely insane. Everything that happened right there. Let's take a look here. We got the decisive, the sprint burst that will make it. We'll just double check everything here. $10 hook state penalty. Get out of here. Oh. Let's take a look at everything here. Alright, everything looks good to me. Alright, so we have 5 gens have been completed. 10 hook stage. So our next killer up for Prism is going to be, are you guys ready for this? It's a big surprise. It's a big surprise. It's going to be Billy.
Ooh,
Oh. And our
Blight Billy.
our Billy just has to make sure they don't get 5 gens done. If they get 5 gens done, they need to make sure that they get the total of at least 11 hooks. If they get 10 and they get 4 fresh hooks, we will have a tiebreaker. But I would assume
Ooh.
this Billy is going to attempt to do what we saw our last Billy do, is just eventually slug everybody out as soon as you can. But we saw last time with the tiles how difficult that can be if they have a strong survivor group.
So can you explain to us what we're looking for in a tiebreaker? What does a tiebreaker entail?
So, good question. So, per the rules that we set up, the tiebreaker scenario is going to be a 1v1 setting. It'll be a trapper, no traps, no perks, no offerings, no add-ons. You will meet up at either Coal Tower 1 or Wreckers, whatever the teams both decide on. If neither one decides on it, then we'll just assign it to the coin, flip the coin. Survivor will teabag, and Killer will swing to signify the start of the trial. And they will, after they both meet up at Shack, we got our 2 little timers up there. So I will start the timer, and we will do 2 rounds. One round will be Survivor timed for whichever team is going. Then we'll switch over, and we will do it again, Survivor timed again, on however long they're on their feet. Longest timer wins the tiebreaker. That's something for
That's so exciting.
4 tournaments now. I've been wanting a 1v1, and it hasn't happened yet, no matter how we score it. No,
How many
good question.
points?
Good question, real quick in chat. They are allowed to go anywhere. They just have to start at Shack.
The whole
How
map
many
is at your
points
disposal.
Did that half of a frame cost the Killer here by not being able to down the Fang?
2 hooks and 1 gen easily.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
That 1 frame, that 2 pixels, maybe 1 pixel of that miss of that hit. I mean, they even if they got hit, the gen was 99 at that point. So the Killer rebounding from the hit and then getting another hit, I don't know if they still would have stopped them if they landed that hit, but we'll never know. We couldn't see the progress meter of the Survivor of where exactly that gen was and whether or not that hit would have stalled them long enough. But I would like to believe if they landed that hit, it would have been a 4-gen 12-hook state adventure there.
And that's huge
something-
in this setting.
I don't think you guys saw this, but I did. No matter what, that gen was getting complete there because Snapply was not the only person on that generator. There was also OG on the other side. You could kind of see his head pop up once that gen was complete. But no matter what, if the grab onto Snapply did happen or the original hit, that gen unfortunately would have popped no matter what, thanks to the help of the one, the only, the OG Velociraptor.
And as we're loading in here, just a heads up for you guys, we are, after this match is completed, we are actually 100% on time, it looks like, for everything that was scheduled. So we got about probably another hour and a half after this match of the tournament. We got our teams Suffocate versus Effigy, and then the loser of this match will go against Somosup Uwu in our final round of the day. So just keep an eye out for that. And we will also be joined a little bit later by Sora to help commentate for the rest of the day after this match. And big shout out to Patches, DrPatchez, for being here and commentating with us. Always a pleasure, sir.
Absolutely.
Yep, we're here on the Blood Lodge now. This is Prism's Killer, and these are Courage's Survivors. Now, this Billy player, I love this Billy player. It is Snapply on the Billy. Loved her since day one. Amazing Billy. I want to see how she performs on this Billy here. I wonder how these Survivors will also play. This first chase onto Monarch has already occurred, and compared to our last Billy, we do see a corrupt intervention. We do see those furthest 3 gens from spawn get blocked. We still see 2 Hex Totems, however, so I don't believe that'll be changing amongst this Billy build. The 4th perk these Survivors will have to see for themselves. Gonna be we'll see how this entire thing plays out. We had a good chase coming from Monarch, and Snapply had to leave that. We're gonna see where she goes now. We're gonna be finding an Atom here, little Jackal, and that is already one Hexstone cleansed.
Oh, so good. Yeah, getting this down is key, right? And especially finding the individual that may have a deli play. Generally, they're trying to stay hidden and not get down first so they can make the save.
Yep, we'll see how these survivors react to this first hook. We'll see if they can get that person off the ground without the need of getting another person on the hook, and it looks like that is going to be the case. Getting it a very early unhook. However, Jackal here very much gambling with that BT timer to make that window, just running straight into Snappy. We'll see if we down Jackal again, we might see something like a decisive strike the way he ran into Snappy. We'll see if there's kind of that anti-tunnel that Jackal has brought. In the trade, though, we have the first generator of the game that has been officially completed. Bloodlust here going to be getting the down onto Jackal. We'll see, not going to be able to crawl to Shack Pallet in time, and no decisive strike to call for.
Yeah, taking a chase early at Shack is pretty hard for the killer to negotiate time, right? Because while you're negotiating Shack, all the other survivors are working on gens. Now it's be interesting to see how much pressure they put on the center gen here, which is really exposed for the survivor group.
Yeah, these survivors doing a good job taking the chase away from the active generators, the generators that are being worked by the other three standing survivors. So Jackal here, great job keeping that chase away from such generators that need to be completed. Oh, and wow, that's going to be our third generator already complete. These survivors here are looking to beat that 10 stage win condition, already looking like Z Slasher, man. Just running right by Snapply, just so casually getting that unhook, and not going to be able to land that M1 onto Slasher either. It's going to be so unfortunate just hitting Jackal there, and the fourth generator pops. Snapply is under a lot of pressure now.
Yeah, the survivor groups have done a really good job at dividing and conquering, right? They've now achieved split pressure. All the gens that are still needing to be repaired are on corners. It's gonna be an uphill climb for this Billy.
Yeah, we need to see Snapply here trying to bring this back. We left our tunnel out, so that is still going to be 4 survivors standing. Snapply is very much worried about these other generators by Shack getting complete, and we do see that survivors were working on both. So no matter which gens Snapply went to after that chase, if it lasted too long, would have gotten done. Xander and Monarch are here doubling on that Shack generator, just making Snapply need to leave Z-Slasher and go back to the Shack, not allow that much progress to happen. Unfortunately, tires here to be bumped on, not cut through like you'd think with a normal chainsaw. Like, this is the world of Dead by Daylight. Now, this is where we last saw Jackal, so Jackal could also be working this generator, and these survivors just doing an amazing job splitting these gens, not allowing Snapply to
Oh my god, that
commit
was
to a
almost
chase long
beautiful.
enough.
Nice.
Oh, so close to cross-snapping Monarch here. That would have been beautiful for Snapply to get that pressure going, having a hook right by Shack to start that pressure. But now Monarch trying to crouch tech, but Snapply was expecting that crouch tech, hovering that chainsaw to be 99.
Oh, another good hit. Okay, Billy's making up some ground here. I think that this may be the break that the Billy needed to put pressure back on the survivor group.
Yep, 2 good chainsaws. You now have 2 downs next to the most progressed generator of the bunch. There's still that far generator still able to be worked. And this is our no mither survivor being chased, so you can't leave him on the ground for too long. And it looks like Snapply knows this and is going to be picking up Xander, not allowing him to recover off of that ground.
Jackal gets up Slasher, or Slasher as Unbreakable. I don't know if you saw the Unbreakable yet.
Unbreakable is the main perk that is banned against the Hillbilly here. So Jackal did all that work going to get Z-Slasher, just him against the world, and very much worked out being able to get that pickup while Xander is being transported to a hook. So now Snappy has 3 survivors to deal with, but Monarch's still on the ground, probably near, again, the generator with the most amount of progress, and Hex Ruin is going to be doing its work on the generator.
Okay, he finds the Atom here. Atom is Death Hook, and so getting this down, getting it to a 3v1 will be key. Oh, good hit. So now the Billy can now put this pressure back on the survivor group, right? Because now they're down an individual.
But we did see those survivors are doubling that shack generator, and it is going to get done before Snapply is able to get to these survivors, unfortunately. So now there's still a whole 6 hook stages to get. Dead hard from Xander, unfortunately not going to be landing, forcing the locker so the survivors can work the other exit gate. Now Snapply's going to be hooking this and trying to chainsaw all the way back to that other gate there, likely being progressed. Snapply's in a tough position here, but the good news is that these 2 remaining standing survivors are able to be slugged, as we had mentioned the non-existence of Unbreakable, but Z-Slasher with the sprint burst and Monarch opening that gate, gonna be taking that out, and I believe Monarch is a fresh hook, so that would be a 9-stage result for Snapply here.
That was
very,
a brilliant play.
Yeah, very close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Monarch just instantly taking that leave.
We're gonna see the loss by 1 hook stage.
Yeah, that's
so close, so tight.
So close. But that means we will be we see a deliverance. Oh, it's not over yet.
Oh
it
my
is
God.
not over yet at all. Z-Slasher here taking the save onto Xander, gonna be able to hit Z-Slasher this time, unlike with Jackal, and now Xander here, just him to get to that exit gate. Gonna be taking that hook onto Z-Slasher though. Might be allowing Xander to just get out.
Oh, he's in a keyhole. Ooh, so close.
So close.
Well done by this Billy. This map has a lot of bumps, a lot of little things that can hold you up, but early game, again, they let the killer at the killer shack, ate a lot of time, allowed the survivor groups, the individual survivors to set up their shop and start progressing. Really good start for the survivor group.
Yeah, and they kept that start rolling. They allowed the tunnel out, Jackal, to escape because of how much gen pressure they had on the complete opposite side of the map, making Snapply be worried and go towards those generators, and very much not against her at all to be worried, as those generators were being worked. Commit to Jackal for too long, and that might have been even less stages, so good call on Snapply to leave that chase. These survivors unfortunately just didn't make enough mistakes for Snapply to take advantage of on the side of Prism. So now that'll be courage moving forward, but we will be seeing Prism again in the underdog bracket.
Oh, absolutely. That was such an evenly matched quarterfinals between those two. It came down to just split-second decisions on both sides. That is just absolutely wild. The fact that they were just 2 hook states apart, we haven't seen it that close, I don't think, almost the entire tournament, except for maybe that 1 second body block we saw earlier in the tournament. This was a wild matchup, and that means that Prism, a little bit later, you will be going against Somo Soup Uwu. But next up, we got Suffocate versus Effigy. Let me go ahead and show you guys. And real quick, Patches, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate everything that you did. W commentator, and I really appreciate you hanging out with us for the first couple matchups. Can I get a W in the chat for DrPatchez, please? And let's get a shout out for my guy here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to watch these incredible plays from both the survivor groups and the killer side of things. So thank you again for having me, and hopefully we were entertaining enough.
All right, and just
Yeah,
to show you guys where we at right now, we got Gamblers, Suffocate, Courage, and Prism. So starting the day off tomorrow will be Gamblers versus Courage. We will have that schedule up after stream today. Expect 4 p.m. Pacific time for these two to kick it off. Then whoever is the two winners of these two groups down here, they will be the second match. The loser of Gamblers versus Courage will come down here. They will be our third match. Then the winner of this match down here will go in best of 3 finals. So we can go ahead and see how that's going to play out, so you have an idea of where that is going. And what were you going to say there, Nugs?
I just wanted to say my thanks to Patches for joining me with this cast, being a nice duo caster to talk along with, being able to save some of my voice to regenerate, you know, so.
Absolutely.
And just good input, too. I enjoyed your casting. I enjoyed being alongside with you, and hopefully I'll be able to cast with you again in the future.
And in the meantime, I wanted to bring in our next caster that is going to be joining us for the next couple matchups. You know them. You'll love them. They've been here before. Welcome back, Sora. How are you doing today, Sora?
Really, really good. A really interesting matchup recently. Holy, I was not expecting that. Really well played from both sides, but unfortunately just Courage being well played, and we will have our next matchup of Effigy versus Suffocate.
All right, real quick, Suffocate. You guys are the top seed, so you get to choose the one or the rocket ship. So as soon as you can, let us know. Do you want the one or the rocket ship for your coin flip? And for this matchup, let's take a look at who we have. So we got Suffocate is going to be playing a nurse. Effigy is going to be playing a blight. Who would you expect to win in nurse versus blight? Nurse in pubs is ranked higher, but in the comp world, with these types of settings, I think they're still pretty comparable, pretty close to each other, correct?
Yeah, I'd say so. Nurse and Blight very close in power on these maps. Nurse being able to get those quick downs, usually quicker than most Blights if they're not making those mistakes. Like in an ideal world, these nurses getting those downs very quickly. Blight's still getting downs quickly too, but they do gotta wait a little bit longer for their power to come back. So that's mainly the kind of more difficult side on the Blight's half to get such downs. So I'd say still evenly matched given their maps and map sizes, still able to do what you'd usually see in these kinds of places, that kind of 3-gen potential. We saw it kind of on both Blights, although one kind of got that 4K way too quick for us to see that. Damn you, Jesus. I wanted to talk about that 3-gen. But but nonetheless, we got more Blight. We get to see our nurse of the day. I'm excited. What about you, Sor?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Interesting matches as well. Yeah.
And it looks like we are waiting to hear back from Suffocate. We haven't heard anything from them. I don't know what's going on. So we will let you guys know what's going on as soon as we know. We might have to skip ahead to the next matchup until we know. or we might have to give them the loss for that round. That's unfortunate to do that in the quarterfinals, but we might have to. In the meantime, Prism and Somo Soup Uwu, would you guys be ready to do your matchup if needed? Trying to reach out to everybody here. In the meantime, what do you guys think of the tournament being set up in the instance where when we go towards the finals, it is any tier except for tier 1. So you don't get to see your nurses, your blights, your billies, your spirits tomorrow. It's all going to be all the other style of tournament, or all the other killers. So you're going to see maybe your Weskers, you're going to see maybe your Xenos, but you're not going to see the S tiers, in the coming days. What do you guys think of that?
I kind of like that idea, mainly because of how different in power the tier 1 killers are compared to the rest. Like a Blight would definitely just outperform a Myers, a Trapper, a Nurse, Billy. They're just almost always going to outperform these other killers. So being able to have that variety of all the lower tiers, being able to get mixed up more on the M1 side, and just not seeing down come in, just those 4K ones that you usually often see. I like that idea. It feels more fair, so to say, especially in this kind of tournament format where you can't pick the same killer twice, and it can be just killers from multiple tiers. It's not a mirrored matchup unless we're talking about that one on Rio round that we had at the beginning of the tournament. I like the idea, so I'm all in for it. Sora, your thoughts?
Most definitely. Also, yes, I agree with you. The fact that we could be seeing different matchups of power. We could also definitely be seeing an underdog of a tier 3 going against a tier 2, or maybe even a tier 5 going against a tier 3, and results can actually definitely vary with that. And there could be a chance that we could be seeing the lower tier actually show off.
Hell yeah, that's definitely very, very true. We shall see how these S tiers perform, though. If we're gonna be skipping this matchup, I believe we're seeing our Spirit. So, let's see if I'm correct here, and it is. It's gonna be Spirit versus another Billy. You thought you had enough Billy? No. Here, have a little more. Have a little more Billy, yeah.
Billy has been struggling in this tournament so far, so we'll see how it turns out with Soup's Billy. So Prism and Somo Soup, would you guys be willing to go and check out and go ahead of this matchup with Suffocate versus Effigy? If we haven't heard back from Suffocate by the time that matchup's over, I guess we will just move Effigy on as the winner of the round, because nobody has heard anything back from them yet. I don't know if they know they're supposed to play. They're not responding, so it looks like we're probably going to have to disqualify them or give them the loss for the round, which means they would lose. They'd be out of the tournament for that. But real quick, can I get Prism and Somo Soup Uwu? Let me know how much time you guys need, or if you guys are able to go right away. If you guys are able to go right away, we can just go ahead and jump into your match. Okay, so that is from Prism. Prism is good. Soup, what about you guys? Are you guys good to go right away? We can just jump into your match while we're waiting to hear back.
I see a good question from chat in the meantime. Is it normal to see Weskers, Myers, and Ghostfaces in the competitive scene? The answer, Weskers and Ghostfaces, yes. Myers not really. You don't really see that much of our best friend Michael in the competitive scene. uh, Weskers and Ghostfaces are very, very popular. Ghostface is considered the most complex set in competitive Dead by Daylight. So that's why Ghostface is so popular, because we like hurting our brains, apparently. We like making it struggle, getting that uh, Ghostface work in. And then Wesker is popular because his power is so fun to go against and play as, and it he's also very very A tier, which a lot of people like.
It looks like Suffocate did have a miscommunication. They're trying to get their people together. So we'll give them another couple minutes to get their people together, get in VC. Ambassadors, it looks like they are jumping in VC if you want to jump in there so we can get better communication going. Samo Soup, Uwu, and Prism, thank you so much for trying to jump ahead. Give me 1 second. We're still looking at this. I think we're going... I think they're getting ready. So, we'll give them a couple more minutes and see if we can get everything going. But what was your guys' favorite so far that we've seen throughout the whole tournament or today? What have you guys liked so far, Sora, and you, Nugs, as well?
I definitely like some of the matches in the last weekend. A prime example of that being Effigy versus Renegade, where I believe it was Renegade Cenobite and Effigy Survivor actually body blocked the Cenobite, and they managed to meet their win con by popping that last generator, and it just shows how time is everything in competitive DVD.
Yeah, I was gonna say that exact same moment right there. Being able to being able to body block the killer and just get that win condition, that was just so insane to me to watch right then and there. I loved it so much. I was so like happy to see like the one prime example of how time can be so important. And then I can put on another example here. This last game between Courage and Prism, both survivor teams, insane. Both killers, insane. Like both survivor teams had very close moments where on Prism survivor side, they managed to pop the last gen right as the Blight got there and didn't even take it down for it because the Blight was just 2 pixels away at the end of the swing. And then on the Billy game, being able to pop that final generator again, kind of a theme here with that final generator, just being able to pop that final generator right as Billy is going there, being able to get that end game started. It's now just the gates to go. So I really like that matchup as well.
All right, and then Suffocate. Go ahead and do the coin flip. Do you want the one or the rocket ship for the coin flip? They're asking if possible if they can go killer first because they are still trying to get their 4th member so we don't disqualify them. But we will do the coin flip just to see. Give me 1 second. Suffocate has 3 of their 4 members. They are struggling to get their 4th member back. We're trying to give them time. Effigy, are you okay allowing them to go killer first so they have time to get their 4th person back for the survivor match? Are you okay with that, conceding that, Effigy? If not, we can do the coin flip. It is completely up to Effigy if they agree or not.
Very excited to see some more S tier action as we go on today. I believe it's Nurse and Billy again. I believe. Or is it Nurse and... Hold on. It's Nurse and Blight. It's
Nurse and Blight, correct.
Just reading the wrong thing. Got Nurse and Blight. Very excited. More Macmillan, more blue. You guys missed the blue.
All right.
I'm sure we all missed the blue.
So they want to kill first as well. So we will do the coin toss to see. Suffocate, I need an answer. Do you want the one or the rocket ship? Give me an answer so we can do the coin flip, and hopefully luck is in your favor. If not, it has been 15 minutes of us sitting here waiting. If you get unlucky with the coin toss, we might just have to go on to the next group, guys. We do have our other teams able to play, so we won't disqualify you. We'll give you another chance to get your group together. But Prism and Soup said they are good to go. They want the rocket. All right, here we go. All right, it is rocket, and they wanted killer first. So Suffocate, go ahead and send your killer. Get them and give me an invite so we can get into that group. In Effigy, you will be the first survivor group. And hopefully Suffocate can get their full team together for their survivor group. This is why we ask that everybody is in their VCs, is ready to go, and is available for the times. That's why I set up the schedules. That's why we do all the things, guys, to make sure you guys are well aware and we don't run into these complications. I don't want to disqualify a team, but we can't just sit here for half an hour to an hour talking about nothing. You know what I mean? We have other people waiting. We have other teams ready to go. So we want to keep it going. We want to keep it smooth. We're trying to give them as much time as possible because I know they want to play. I know they want to be here, and they're running into a lot of issues behind the scenes. So we are trying to be as compassionate as possible. But we are getting set. We got Spectral in, and it looks like they should be Nurse. So what are you expecting from a Nurse? We haven't seen a Nurse yet in comp. In this tournament, what are you guys expecting?
I am expecting
I'm a
greatness.
goddamn cowboy,
That's
and
for
I'll
sure.
talk any fucking way I please.
Yeah, these we have our Nurse, our unfortunately one Nurse today. I would have liked to see more, but I understand why there's only one Nurse, because there's Blight and Billy. But with this Nurse pick, I do kind of like similar as I said with the other S tiers, somewhere in the 4K range, if not a 4K, a 3K, which I'm pretty much all of these teams have been able to deliver. Like every single team did what they could, and they got what they could. So I'm just happy to see them perform. Somewhere in the 4K range is something I'd like to expect on the Nurse, especially because of how what's it called? Because of how CT1 is, the Cold Tower 1. Nice, good old rectangle shape. Very, can be very open, if depending on how your middle map generates, which would allow the Nurse to have some good line of sight. So that is very important, especially on these Nurse sets, because just how you rely on line of sight so much as Nurse.
Effigy, please join me, please. You guys are up. Cricket, thank you so much for the follow, homie. I appreciate you. Eleanori from earlier, about an hour ago, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. We need to get the people in here, and let's get going, guys. So please join me. If you have not added me, which you should have, if not, there is my DBD code. No worries, Critical. I appreciate you helping out. Others, if you need to add me, there's my code if that helps, if Critical's having issues getting loaded up. But we'll get this going here shortly. And a good question from Patches in the chat. In this setting, where do you slot Nurse versus Billy and Blight? Who do we like better in this situation? Now, keep in mind, she does have Cold Tower 1, which my understanding is pretty decent to go against Nurse.
Yeah, and Cold Tower 1 has that potential to have a lot of line of sight blockage against the Nurse. And compared to a Billy or Blight, though, I believe I'd want to slot Nurse at number 2 with the potential of Billy being number 1 and Blight being number 3 because of Blight's recent nerfs onto his add-ons, and then also just his main nerf that happened way earlier this year. So that's where I would put Nurse in that spectrum. Billy, I'd put better because Blood Lodge usually is a more open map, being able to traverse around the map very quickly and moving even faster than the Blight, and being able to have that insta-down power. Being able to play tiles effectively as the Billy will allow you to get those downs quick and get those hooks fast. So that is my stance on it.
Welcome in, Minty Souls. We're in the middle of our High Noon Havoc tournament. In the quarterfinals, we got our team Suffocate versus Effigy. Suffocate is going to be our killer loading in as a Nurse, so this should be really interesting. Our first tournament ever with Nurse. As Patches brought up earlier, this is the first time Nurse has ever been in comp, guys.
Ooh la la. Very exciting.
Okay.
Billy has a drug addiction? I don't know about that. I think Blight has a drug addiction. You don't see Billy shooting up every 5 seconds. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this guy, I don't know what's in those syringes, Mr. Talbot, but you might need to stop. We're here.
Oh,
Cold Tower now.
they said doesn't have an addiction. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we agree.
Yeah, Blight, more addicted, might need to let it off a little. Maybe then he'd gain a couple spots, you know? We're here on the Cold Tower now.
So what is our Nurse doing here? Are they just looking for their first target and they're just sitting up top on the hill for that? Normally you'd think you'd be searching for their target, right? Not waiting for the target to pop out to you. Because if they see that corrupt intervention, they're going to want to just rat game, correct?
Yeah.
It depends on how aggressive these survivors play. So we saw scratch marks here at this tile, which shows that kind of aggression kind of play. So what Spectral was trying to do was wait on that hill to see if any survivors were to cross and go to the non-corrupted side to try and get some early gen progression for just a better start, not waiting that whole 2 minutes comparatively.
Yeah, these are very nice blinks. You can tell that Spectral knows what the hell he's doing on Nurse.
Yeah, most definitely. That first down coming in quickly, and the first unhook comes in quickly too. These survivors going for that unhook right as Spectral here walks away from that generator. So good play from the survivors.
Most definitely, and we will actually be seeing quite a quick reset onto our Rebecca here. So probably could be a mix of like Resurgence will make it, having that very quick heal, or just normal will make it. And whoever actually got that save could have actually been Deli, so that's obviously going to be set up for later. Our Rebecca going into our like middle side of the map, towards middle left, and actually going to be going towards top left. Now, I'm going to go ahead and explain something here. Our Nurse is actually having the undetectable status right now, and that is due to Badman's Last Breath. It basically, every time you land a blink attack successfully, you gain undetectable for a short amount of time, which can definitely mess with survivor comms a lot. But if the survivor comms are good, there can be little to no value of it. But definitely a nice juke out from our Rebecca here, going back to our main building here, and just gonna try to see how much time we can waste here.
Right, huge shout out to Cookie. Oh my god, you're insane. Thank you so much for the $100 tip. Oh my god, I love you, Cookie. You were absolutely amazing.
Oh, wow. Whole $100, that's insane, Cookie. We love you so much for that.
Definitely. Like, I don't like to bring that up
in the chat.
I don't like to bring that up in the middle of a tournament setting, but holy shit, you are amazing. Thank you.
I mean, hey, that kind of stuff deserves to be brought up, man. A whole massive tip like that, it's completely understandable to just, hey, boss, I gotta say thank you.
Cookie, a little bit later, you were gonna do 69-69. Oh my god! A little bit later, when we switch to a regular stream and we're doing 1v4 pubs, I'd love you to join me, homie.
Yep. Sora, you were talking about the nurse gaining a status effect when she hits a survivor, but another add-on gives an effect that when you hit a survivor with a blink attack. Would you mind telling us what that does?
Absolutely. So every time you hit a blink attack, it's kind of just like win-loss for either side. And what happens is after getting hit by a blink attack, you actually suffer the mangled status effect, which actually slows heals and also slows if you actually find a reset in a certain situation and they have to get off, it actually reduces the reset over time. So definitely able to get some passive pressure here, and a nice down onto our survivor of Claude here, and I don't think we're actually seeing a pull right now, so definitely interesting from our survivors here.
I believe our survivors are more on the side of gen pressure, hoping that Claudette would have a good chase. Maybe we have a deliverance from Myers here, our Dwight, which is why they wouldn't be going for a rescue. Looks like that's not the case though. There still is potential, as I believe it is allowed against the nurse, so we'll see if there is a deliverance. Maybe this Rebecca was our deliverance, who is also our tunnel out. We found the tunnel out. Our Rebecca and Spectral here is definitely going to be wanting to chase this, because we've kind of seen a theme with these S tiers as they tunnel one person out. If possible, they always try to tunnel one person out to allow that 3 versus 1 compared to a 4 versus 1, and that is valuable.
That was an unlucky miss.
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. An unfortunate miss from our nurse here, and actually just redeeming himself instantly, getting that nice little down. And I believe our Rebecca here is actually dead at 3 gens. And also repeating what Nugs said, if that was Deli and it wasn't the other serve that got the save in the first place, this could actually be really bad for our serves here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the value of Deliverance. We see that Deliverance is active. We saw a Deliverance active on someone, I couldn't really see who, but Rebecca was not Deliverance. We've seen from these previous Blights, previous Billies, how valuable Deliverance is. Deliverance, it kind of made or break a couple games, especially in the case where Prism was surviving against Courage. That very much helped them, and so did Unbreakable. But it's just such a valuable perk, which is why you only see it in these S tier sets. You feel like Deliverance is kind of necessary because of how much pressure these S tiers can get.
Absolutely, and we do actually see one of our gens 99 here, and most definitely there has been someone that's lurking around here. And we do actually find our Claudette stealthing out here, trying to be a blendette, but gets caught off. And depending on how well our nurse here plays it, this could actually be a really fast down. And unfortunate whiff from here, so that will not happen, and we will just be seeing our Claude run to the other side of the map.
Yep, Claudette gonna be able to take this chase away from that erupted generator.
Oh my god.
Having...
God.
Oh my god, that was amazing dead hard. Holy... And that dead hard right there just allowed that generator to be completed. That was fantastic by our Claudette here.
Absolutely, and if we did not see that dead art come in, the generator was highlighted in yellow, which does indicate that eruption is in place. So if that down did come in, that means that the gem would have taken a little bit longer to pop, with the risk of it not even popping at all. But going back to our other gens here, and the last gen actually does pop, so really bad for our nurse here. Definitely tries to go for a best result now.
Yeah, we might be playing into a little bit of slugging, trying to get these survivors slugged onto the ground and keeping them there to try and get these 4 kills at 0 generators remaining. Our Dwight not in sight, but we know where he is. He got that unhug onto Claude, that's for sure. And now we're chasing our only fresh hug. This is the most valuable survivor to Spectral because of how many hook stages our Lara here is worth, which is the full 3. So now not going to be going for Myers or Claudette because looks like we're going to be resetting here, trying to either go for the save, but I believe these survivors have something up their trick here, or a trick up their sleeve.
Definitely, and actually a really good play already. Our deli actually does come in, so maybe we might actually be seeing a 3 out. And our survivors attempting to try to body block so that our nurse here loses distance, but unfortunately that does not work as the down does come back in. So we will be probably seeing our serves actually go for our Alex here, and just maybe trying to get that 2K.
We don't see our Dwight in sight though. Claudette's staying on the ground because she's only worth 1 extra hooks or 1 less hook stage, so that would kind of, they want Spectral to pick up Claudette. I'd want to say Dwight was trying to heal Claudette, or not Claudette, Lara off the ground, but it looked like that wasn't the case. It very much looked like that was the play that was happening though. But either way, this is going to be a 9-stage result for the side of Suffocate, and now Effigy here is going to need to match that on the Blight.
Absolutely. Really well played from the survivors at the end there. A little bit of an unfortunate, like somewhat of an early tunnel out, but they did actually manage to recover really well, especially with that dead hard coming in from our Claudette. So really well played. 9-stage 4 fresh, definitely something you do not see against Nurse, but it can happen, and we're just gonna need to see how the Blight plays.
Yep, absolutely. I believe that Death Hard was the highlight of the game.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Primary moment. That Dead Hard right there. Not only did it allow that far generator to pop, it also allowed that generator that Walker was going to pop as well, because that extra time given by that Dead Hard allowed Walker to be able to, or would have allowed Walker to be able to go to that gen before it popped if that Dead Hard never occurred.
And we just got word that unfortunately Suffocate still cannot get their 4th member, so we will be going on without them. Effigy, you will be taking that win because they could not get that final member. So GG's Effigy, you will be moving on to the next round for tomorrow. And again, let's take a look at it so everybody can see what we are talking about here. We got a bunch of ads everywhere is what we got. That's what we got. We got tomorrow, start with Gamblers versus Courage, and then it will follow up by Effigy versus the winner of Prism versus Somo Soup Uwu. Somo Soup Uwu, are you guys ready? Prism, are you guys ready? And Prism, you are on top with the highest seed, so you get the decision on the coin flip. Do you want the 1 or the rocket ship, so we can get that moving forward? And for this next matchup, jumping forward, we are going to see, we got our Billy from Somo Soup. In Prism, we got Spirit.
Oh,
Some Spirit gameplay. We got our Spirit of the day.
At least every single last year was played this time, so.
That's true. I was worried we weren't. All right. So I guess we can go ahead and reset as we were doing it. Let's get this all back to 0. Welcome back, Cookie. What is going on with that number? Hello?
I guess the -10. Oh, we just went to a -1.
Yeah, I thought it said -10 for a second. I was like, the scoreboard is out of control. And we are waiting to hear back from Prism. Prism, do you want the 1 or the rocket ship? Let us know while I am resetting everything for our teams here, getting the right stuff set up. Prism is going to be on the left. And on the right is going to be Soup. So what do you guys expect to see from a Spirit in the tournament setting?
Like definitely a variety of results. This is actually the one S tier where you could actually be seeing more outs depending on how like good the Spirit phases are, how good well the survivors play, and definitely also once again more outs as usual. And common strat that you actually might see in the comp setting is the usual survivor that has like DS or like decisive, as people say, will actually have a perk called For the People, and try to be playing more aggressive. And if that doesn't work, they will actually have the other survivor be taking chase towards let's say Shack as an example, and actually be dropping that Shack pellet. So our tunnel out is actually the more desired chase, which leads to basically just a lot more pressure in the meantime, and just either having the Spirit choose between, well, either I have to take this tunnel out and like definitely waste more time, or I'm gonna have to waste even more time trying to get a faster down onto this other person who is just healed.
What map do we have our Spirit on? That's our first Spirit of the tournament. Wreckers? That would make sense.
Yeah, I would expect Wreckers. Going to check right now, and that is Wreckers Yard.
Correct.
So it is a more so standard map for Spirit. Again, like Sora said, there's more potential for outs. You'd see Spirit as the weakest of the 4 tier 1s that we have available, because she's also a little bit buggy right now, where you can hear things you're not supposed to, I believe, and just general audio is kind of a little bit fucky. So that's kind of not in the Spirit's favor. But as you said, Sora, right phases can result in those 4Ks. Spirit's kind of one of those killers that makes 50-50s 100 zeros in the killer's favor. It's completely possible to do that. We could probably even see that kind of 100-0 come in, where it looks like it's a 50-50, but either way, you're dying, buddy.
Here we go. We got our Rocket pick, and it is going to be Rocket. Do you guys want the killer first or killer second? What are you guys feeling?
Why is it the one time that we pick Rocket and then we lose it?
Prism wants to kill second. All right. So, Soup, your killer. Can you go ahead and send me an invite so we can get going on that? And Soup's killer is going to be our Billy.
Surprise, surprise. What can I say, man?
More Billy, more sawing. Did we see a saw each round? No, we didn't see a saw for Suffocate versus Effigy, as we would have seen the Blight after that nurse.
True. But what we have seen from the Billies is, if I'm not mistaken, there was 4 gens done and then 5 gens done. Do you think with the survivor play we've seen in these later rounds, these really good survivors, do you think our Billy's going to be able to do better than allowing 4 gens to get done? Stop him at 3 gens or 2 gens? I'm not familiar with Clownfish's Billy gameplay. Sure, we're going to find out real quick. But what do you guys think?
Billy is also another one of those where it's definitely depending on how good our Billy's game sense is, what the perk is. Like normally you would see like a combination of like Hex Undying, Hex Ruin, and those totems can definitely cause how the game can shift from the survivor's favor into the killer's gamer favor, which I actually do want to reference our game that happened the first matchup. I actually do want to bring this up. We unfortunately could not cleanse our totems, and we did know where they were, but unfortunately, one of the totems was actually next to an active gen, so we really couldn't have that risk of cleansing the totem and then dying because from that killer they could just keep slugging and just kept on getting 4Ks, and that definitely just screwed up with a lot of our gem pressure that game. So yeah.
Yeah, the importance of kind of like Hex Ruin does show there in a sense. Sure, you guys moved on, but it definitely still allowed you to get or allow Cyber to get that 4K on you guys still.
Mm.
So that definitely like helped there. Billy uh is kind of like I'd expect at least 4 gens to be allowed, but obviously anything can happen. On the more expected side though, I I would say he can allow he'd probably allow 4 gens to be done if I'm on that kind of expected side. Out's totally possible. I believe we saw these survivors play the Billy, not against the Billy. So obviously anything can happen here. We don't know. These survivors could just juice, and they get 5 gens done, or this Billy could just saw, and it's a 4K5.
Yeah, most definitely.
And they are picking their builds. They are getting set up. So we're just giving them a little bit of time here. Watching a lot of this Survivor play makes me realize just, as a pub player, it makes me realize just how inadequate I am to go into a comp scene. Like almost every single one of their situations they're found in, they have the right what's the best way to put it? They have the right check spots. They have the right positioning. They know where they need to be. They're wasting the killer's time on purpose when they need to, whether it be, emoting right as they're about ready to go down because they know they can't go anywhere, or jumping in the locker at the last second just to waste a few more seconds of that killer's time just so they can get that gen done. Not freaking out when a killer like that Blight that we saw that flew in to hit the gen, I think it was at 7 o'clock that we were talking about, and barely missed. I think it was Snapply at that point, barely missed them. And Snapply didn't even move from the gen. They just committed to it. Like, seeing all of this play is just making me realize, like, got a long way to go in TBT.
I mean, hey, a lot of us here in the competitive scene also started here. Like me, for instance, I also started like kind of at that pub sense where like I didn't kind of think to do all of these things. It comes through practice, dedication to the idea of the comp scene, kind of like just knowing what to do and when all comes through practice, learning, analyzing situations. Like sometimes some teams do VOD review, for instance, be like, oh, where did we go wrong? So here we should have done X play, maybe go into the locker to prevent that slugging, and if we prevented that slugging, we'd have allowed this gen all the way over here to get done, and that would have changed the win condition phenomenally, so to say. So it all comes through practice. We may start at level 1, but eventually through that grind, through that practice, that dedication, we can get up there, get our names shown. If you care about fame in that sense. Otherwise, you're just being seen as a really good person.
And Patches brings it out here. So far, the Billies have lost the battle of the night for the tight squeezes. Third Billy in a row with a win condition. This could be it. Hopefully not. Hopefully they don't have that win condition put that pressure on. As we saw, that pressure, it can really get to you no matter how good of a player you are. You have that win condition of what you have to do, and if you're not performing to what you have to do, the nerves start clicking.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, it'll definitely help this, Billy, that there's no win condition set. You're just doing you. You set that win condition and make Prism's spirit here have to match that win condition. Whether it's a 4K2 or 10 stages, it's all just chill. You have nothing to worry about at all.
All right, we are connecting. We are loading in. We're getting ready for the final round of the day, guys. We got Prism versus Somo Soup Uwu. No patches. There was a issue with one of the teams. They couldn't get their full team here to play, so they did have to take the loss for the day. Unfortunate. We did want to see them play. They are a solid team. We love seeing Suffocate in these tournaments. They are amazing, but unfortunately they did have to drop because they couldn't get their fourth person. I think in the future we will probably not allow, or we will not restrict teams to how many they can have. They just have to make sure they have enough signed up. We are having trouble connecting players at the moment. What's up, Lorena?
It's just OG that's having issues coming in. He keeps losing the host, so I don't know if it's just him or if he has to reset, so it might be a couple seconds.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Looks like it is loading in, but he got kicked, so it will kick us back to the lobby. I'll get him back in. Yeah, can we get a behavior in the chat, please? Exclamation mark behavior. Shows off how much we love behavior.
Gotta love behavior, man.
DBD
My
is a perfect
favorite
game
studio.
with no bugs.
We've seen a lot of crashes recently. That's just behavior being behavior at this point.
As Matthew Cote said, at least in this channel 131 times, I think we did a pretty good job so far. I like to keep track of how many times I get frustrated with DBD and we spam that. So go ahead and continue or to DC from that match because only one survivor or 3 survivors loaded. We're gonna go pick up OG.
Sometimes the OG does fade.
And I gotta know, Nugs. Do you and Flaming Nuggy, do you guys have like a rivalry, or are you guys like friends? Is it like McDonald's chicken nuggets versus, you know, like Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, or are you guys like friends? Tell us about it. Is there a beef going on or not? We need to know. The chat needs to know.
Flaming Nuggy. He is one of my best pals because Flaming Nuggy is me in the chat. So, I mean, I'd like to think I like myself, unless I secretly hate him. Oh, Flaming Nuggy, you're next.
For what?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll figure it out eventually. Like, I have ideas. Maybe I'll 1v1 him Dead by Daylight.
All right, we're loading back in.
Came back and Nugs is talking about self-love. Of course. You should love yourself now. Love thyself. Be happy you're here. But it's Nugs.
It's Nugs. Yeah, that's
What's
crazy.
wrong with me being like...
Oh.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Factual information. Anyways, that's.
All right, we are loaded in. Let's take a look at the ping. Ping looks good. Let's spectate.
Yeah. Yeah. We're here once more, and the Blood Lodge, this guy cannot let go of his saw, man. He's just too addicted. Maybe we were wrong with saying Blight was the addicted one here. But now, we are here, Billy here on the Blood Lodge, already revealing the bamboozle on the shack window, and now chasing our Lara here we see OG has no mither. We saw this with the previous two Billy games. It's no different here. It's an expected perk. You see why it's an expected perk because of the threat it has against slugging. Sora here. What do you think of this quick down and early game so far?
Definitely early down. We do actually already see at the start no gens were blocking, so no corrupt. So our killer was definitely confident to get a fast down, and seeing one of our gens already get completed. Okay, never mind. This is actually somewhat decent for both sides, and I'm seeing like 3 people at once right now. So this is a little bit unfortunate, and our survivor playing a little bit battle of patience here, and actually getting a nice little hit enduring that BT, and right now our No Mither is actually currently slugged, so definitely will be able to see himself pick back up, but a nice snipe from our Billy here, and definitely interesting start here.
Yeah, very interesting. I was originally going to question the choice of no corrupt intervention. We saw it before, and we're seeing it again, no corrupt for our killer here. But it looks like corrupt here was not really that needed with how quick of a first down we got. And we see that previously Tego had decisive strike, allowing this chase to be extended further, but no dead hard to commence that. So this is going to be the second hook after a little bit while longer. We left OG on the ground because we here in the S tier sets only care about our tunnel out. You guys are taking hits, fine. Go away, please. So now we're on Tego. We're gonna be sticking around this hook, sticking around the main building. We see that he's now kicking gens because his Hex Ruin is now cleansed.
I think we just heard someone miss a skill check on the hook.
Yeah, I think so too. Little Kego, unfortunately missing those skill checks, using the silly car as I call it. Someone is stealthing for the save. Autumn here was ready for the save, but gets found at the last second.
Definitely a little bit unfortunate from there, not getting that unfortunately forcing that trade, so it wasn't a fully safe unhook, but slugging our Nancy here and definitely trying to get on to our tunnel out here for a tunnel out at 4 gens, which would be insanely good for our Billy. Just trying to keep on chasing Kego and definitely trying to get a tunnel out.
Yeah, that's exactly what our Billy wants. We saw it with a lot of the previous S tier sets here. Just more tunnel. Because again, that value of the 3v1, Prism's Billy here wasn't able to get that 3v1, and that is the main reason why they're here right now, because of how important that tunnel is. If Snappy got that tunnel done, that would have been so different, but unfortunately those survivors just played so well, just not making those mistakes at all. OG here with that body block, going to be allowing Kego to get to the shack and being able to drop that shack pallet. You now have Autumn here, not going to be taking a hit, just around the active gens, healing herself to become healthy. There's now being forced to use the chainsaw to get that insta down. M1 will no longer bring Autumn down. OG picking himself back up by the power of No Mither, and now we're leaving this chase. OG back on the generator, and while losing that tunnel out is definitely going to be huge.
Most definitely, but also we have to keep in mind at a certain point. Right now, our generator progress might be insanely good to the point where our Billy realizes that, and he just has to start going for our fresh hooks here, as that definitely does matter, and will actually probably even lead him into a snowball here. And actually might be a little bit worth it, as we do get a somewhat of a decent down onto our No Mither here.
Yep, now our No Mither is going to be put on a hook. Just now it's just 3 survivors. We saw the reset onto our tunnel, So now they are healthy, not going to be able to be found as easily. Going right back to Shack, as this is where we last saw Autumn. So Clown here is expecting that Autumn is around the Shack. We see a decent amount of progress. And now there's scratch marks going towards the unhook here.
Absolutely, and a little whiff from our Billy here, and actually trying to go for a tunnel out onto our Nomither here. Maybe trying to go for a little bit something more and just trying to secure this type of 3v1 instead. And just OG doing a pretty good job actually looping around this maze tile, and we might even see a longer chase, and the pallet drop does come in, and we're just gonna not see how many 50s he wins. And another generator popping as well, and unfortunately a 50-50 loss, so that is another down onto OG.
Yup, and it looks like we're still gonna be taking this hook. Decisive Strike is now out of the game because there's no duplicative perks allowed. And with this fourth hook stage comes with the fifth generator. So now Clown here has a tough toll to ask for, needing to get those hook stages coming in soon, especially because they're going against another S tier, the Spirit. So Autumn is going to be a primary target. Autumn and Snappy, because these two survivors are our fresh hooks. So the fresh hook aspect is going to be very important, as that is our third win condition. And then also, just they're worth more hook stages.
Oh my god!
If you kill both of them, that is worth 6 hook stages. Oh my god, what a curve.
Crazy flick going on there, but I do also want to add, I don't think we saw Deli being used yet, so that is definitely a possibility like we saw in our last ability match, so definitely going to be seeing that, as well as the pickup onto Autumn actually. So we could just be seeing 3 of our survivors actually leaving through the gate, and that's actually not what we see. We do see our Nancy maybe trying to go for something a little bit crazy here, and another 2v1 coming in, and I believe that was actually Deli coming in from our Nia here, so definitely interesting to see this.
Yeah, it looks like Snapply was on that Deli, and OG here trying to take that hit because he is Deathhook, and if everything went according to plan, it would only be a 1 hook stage difference. That was not Deliverance, that was second win. So Snapply is now just healed for free, and Autumn has potential to be the Deliverance here.
Oh my god!
She is the Deliverance with Sprint Burst. So this could be a 4-man out, and it is!
Oh
Holy.
my god!
That was
And
absolutely wild.
I believe that is 6 hook stages and 4 fresh. Although getting that all those fresh hooks, making it slightly better. Holy, that was actually insanely well played from our serves here.
Oh man, absolutely well played by each and every survivor. Our Billy might have not noticed that second win heal had come in. That's why they went for that hook onto Autumn. Just seeing, oh, Snapply's broken. I think that was Deliverance. That would make sense with how quick that unhook came in. So we're just gonna hook Autumn here and camp this out. But no. Second wind bait. I love it.
That was an absolutely wild ending. Oh my god, guys, I'm in awe right now. All right, so can we get our Prism Killer? If you can go ahead and get me an invite, and we can go ahead and get going with that. We are going to see our Spirit next. So our Spirit, do you expect the Spirit to be able to stop the survivors at no more than 4 gens completed? You think that is an easy task? We got a very solid survivor group. Both of these survivor teams are amazing.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, once again, resetting what I said earlier, with the 6 hook win con here, it definitely allows a little bit of leeway for our Spirit here, as they could honestly run Noed and could definitely just go for a little bit of snowball at the end, or just bring our normal build and go for a 4k1. As once again, although Spirit is considered out, they could definitely beat a 6-stage win con.
Yeah, and answering that original question that Thunder had asked, allowing no more than 4 gens to pop is with these tier 1 killers, it can be an easy task, but way harder task than compared to the rest of these other killers. We'll just have to see how our killer plays and how these survivors here play as well, which I'm very excited to see. We're ending today off with a spirit set, so I'm very excited. Survivors now loading in our final game of the day, and then you guys have Thunder to yourself. Ooh, OG, who wore it better? You like the piggies out.
He was talking about
looking...
his Jake Fit versus my
yeah,
Jake Fit.
I saw that Jake Fit. So, comparing Jake Fits...
I shedded a tear looking at that, by the way, I hope you know, so,
Hey, you gotta respect the Valentine's pants. Those are love pants. You gotta...
Okay, I just want to say...
Lovely jubbly.
I thought Ace with the shorts was bad enough, but that was definitely interesting.
Ace with the shorts is amazing. What are you talking about? That's goated right there.
The kneecaps are
Even
out,
OG
bro. Like,
is
what do
saying
you
it.
mean?
OG, like Ace jorts is like so good. If only it was comp.
I hated it.
If it was the comp fit, I'd be running that.
But
I'm
it's
telling you.
not!
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, you're complaining. You're complaining.
Okay, man.
No complaining here. Not in my Thundergun 86 stream.
Damn straight. We can complain and we can cry when the stream's over, but not while it's going.
Exactly.
There's no crying in DBD, all right?
I guess.
all there is exclamation point behavior, and we move on.
Yep.
Thor Nugs, the classic I lost 2-0.
I do not do I lost 2-0. What are you talking
Yeah, you
about?
do. Yeah, you
No,
do.
I don't. No, I don't.
You want to talk about what happened whenever you used dramaturgy against me in the Wraith ones?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's...
I blame dramaturgy there because it's RNG factor. It didn't give me double haste, it gave me exposed. So with double haste I make things. With exposed I don't. I kinda die. Sora cries about DVD every time I ask him to practice. Is this true, Sora? Or are you gonna deny the allegations?
I just don't want to play her, bro. I'm tired. Also, who said that? First, I hate this guy, man.
Yeah.
My own team captain is slandering me. I hated it.
You do not hate it on the Thundergun 86 stream. You hate it on the gamblers.
I did not hate it on the gamblers.
Well then why are you hating it here on the Thundergun 86 stream with the cast?
Because I can. That's...
How rude.
I'm so...
Can you get an L Sora in the chat?
Yo, don't do that. Yo. He hates Furious, not the gamblers. You know what? Facts, honestly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we gotta
Are you gonna
check the
take this
top middle
hate
locker,
furious?
100%.
L Sora X10. Okay, alright. Yep.
Top middle locker? I wonder what's there. What's in the top middle locker?
It's just a running gag in my channel. I think it was Hawkins, where I got really nervous and I kept accidentally checking the middle locker. And so now they tell me to constantly check the middle locker on everything that I do.
No left, no right, always.
Yeah.
That's completely understandable.
Also, El Sora X100. I actually genuinely hated here, but going right into our match, we load into the Wrecker's Yard with the Spirit, and we'll be seeing our Corrupt and actually finding our first survivor pretty quickly. And this actually, I don't know if this is indicated that our time lot is this, as I believe that there were survivors trying to play a little bit more aggressive, so depending on how that goes, we will see how this match will play out.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on how aggressive you play in that early game, it can reveal if it's your main idea, main goal to try and get tunnel out of the game. Maybe you have something like Decisive Strike. Maybe you have something like Dead Hard to try and help you not get tunneled as efficiently. So, completely possible. We'll see if ISO, our ace, was trying to do that, or if he just got found trying to run to a non-direct intervention generator.
Absolutely, and seeing our Ada actually here playing it really well until the tag does come in, and like I said before, there will be some times where you will be seeing a run towards Shack for an FTP from our tunnel preferably, but that might just indicate that maybe our Ada is either the tunnel or they're actually not doing this strat. Either way, nice down from our Spirit here, and this is probably just exactly what our Spirit needs to meet this win con.
Yeah, perhaps first down out of 7 is the win condition. We have 1 gen popping for it, which is something you often see a first down for at least 1 gen on the majority of sets. Sometimes it's a little bit rare on these S tier sets, but still possible. So we still got it. Now, Sora, with the injured and the down, Kego here applied 2 separate status effects due to a perk. Would you be able to explain what this perk is and what it does?
Yes, well, I'm trying to deal with the current slander that's going on in this Twitch chat. I hate it here very much. The current status effect that was applied is actually from Sloppy Butcher, which I believe instead of like how we saw it with our nurse a while ago, with that mangled add-on that definitely does it with normal blinks, we actually see it come from normal attacks like M1s, and definitely helps produce a little bit more passive pressure as the reset becomes a lot slower, and definitely also finding that reset can definitely cause a lot of damage as well, and causing that reset to cause it all the way to go down and just having that more pressure. But we will be seeing a nice double save from our survivors here, and maybe trying to go for another tunnel out onto our Ada here.
Looks like we're actually leaving this Ada, instead going for either our Nancy or Dwight. Nancy on the pallet side of this 4-lane, reading that Kego has double backed and getting that pallet stun.
Oh, that grab!
Oh my god!
By the pigtail. Oh
Yeah,
my god!
Alright.
That was wild!
Insane
Wow,
grab coming in from the side of Kego.
There's definitely something going on here as well. Unfortunately, our one tunnel was actually lost, but this does come with the benefit of the fact that we can have 2 tunnel to choose from. Preferably our Nancy, as getting that unhook and getting that nice down would be a lot better. But either way, you have at least somewhat of a choice to who to go for, and hopefully you can make that correct choice here.
Yeah, we'll see who Kego eventually picks. Most likely the Nancy, as we do see the heal onto Ada and Dwight, and a second generator does get completed. We have quite the split here on the Wrecker's Yard. A little bit of a 4-gen going on. 4 generators close together. So that's definitely in Kego's favor here. These survivors will be given the tough task to break this 4-gen, all while offering Kego less than 4 hooks, or less than 5 hooks total. So we'll see how these survivors play it, and Dwight taking this chase into the 4-gen area. We'll see how this goes.
Most definitely, and we do see, unfortunately, our Dwight here is kind of zoned into where the 4-gen is. Definitely not what you want here, and a nice down coming in, so that is added pressure. And honestly, actually, I'm going to scratch what I said earlier about trying to go for the tunnel out, knowing that the win con here is actually just the 6 stages. And honestly, Keko just feels that they might just be able to just hook all these survivors at least somewhat, and then maybe go for a tunnel later, and then just meet that win con. So either way, we will be seeing a hook into our 4-gen. Unfortunate RNG from behavior as always, and just trying to get more hook stages along and just spread their pressure more.
Yep, absolutely. We see these guys combating this 4-gen already very well. This gen is almost done. Blast Mine coming in. And during that Blast Mine, we get an unhook happening for free. Kego gets stunned for 5 whole seconds. It was insane. So now this allows Dwight some time to get away and We'll see if the Dwight went anywhere. We catch where these survivors are healing over at this filler pallet and trying to do some mind games here. Now is going to phase. We're waiting to hear from Dwight, and the husk, for those that don't know, is very much real. You can get stuck on it, which prevents that vault prompt. Likely what happened to Dwight there as to why he couldn't vault back and allowed Kego to get that down. That is why earlier I was talking about how you can force 50-50 situations to become 100-0 situations.
Absolutely, and already a really good rotation from our survivors here, instantly unhooking this Dwight, and not really seeing what we would normally see, like an FTP coming in. So definitely interesting here. Or it could also be that our Dwight was actually the FTP. So
And
never
there it is.
mind, it was Ace. I ate my
You
words.
called that.
The Slender, bro, the
Bastard's
Slender is
curse.
catching up to me. I just have bad luck. Okay, I hate it here. Like, but anyways, continuing on, we will be trying to continue to find our survivors here, and another gen hopping at. So being at 2 gens, I believe that we are currently at a 4 stage right now. So we could honestly maybe try to go for our ace here and definitely try to maybe camp this one out, or just even try to split more pressure here.
Yeah, absolutely. And these survivors currently know that Kego has the regression of eruption, so they might be on the lookout for if there is other regression available. Still going to be taking this chase onto our ace here. Unfortunately, losing that 50-50 on this pallet here. Going to be breaking that pallet, going to be hooking ace, and that will be the final fresh hook, I do believe. So now there's Dwight that is dead hook, and there's Nancy, Ada, and Ace who's on first hook. Gonna be popping another generator. This 4-gen is now gone. You have very split generators, so this is looking good for the survivors. All they do need to avoid giving Kego 2 hook stages, however, which will be a very tough task.
Absolutely, and if I do believe I recall, I believe our ace here, I don't know if he's like possibly still suffering from the broken effect, or we could actually be seeing a second win come in. Rather not. We do actually need to be seeing a perfect gameplay from our survivors now on, or else Tycon will be met here, and just trying to hopefully not cause that extra hook here.
Yeah, the hook onto any of these non-death hook survivors can prove useful, as you can camp it out and force a trade for that final hook stage that you do need to secure that 7-stage win con. So completely plausible here for the side of the killer. Their main goal here is just as a survivor, just try to stay alive as long as you can, get this final generator done, whether it is on one side of the map or the other. Given where Clown is taking this chase, he's looking like this deep pocket here where we see that generator, and they're working the 2-gen side of the map, and that is the case. Going to be, or not, that's not the case actually. They were working that generator right by the chase, so very bold plays by them. But now these guys saw Kego's trap card. Hex, no one escapes death. We see that Hex totem.
Oh my god, wait.
And an insane phase comes in from Kego, getting the down right next to the Hex totem, and able to pick Clownfish. But we're currently at the tie condition. If Leo dies on this hook, then
Oh my
Prism
god,
takes
wait.
the win. The ace, or not ace, Nancy goes down as well. This is insane.
All our spirit has to do is pick up that Nancy and hook. They don't have to do anything else and they win. I don't know if they know that. They don't even have to protect this hook.
Honestly, they may be just trying to play for the best result, trying to secure this, as they probably know that they already just won it. But we will be seeing our Spirit trying to go for a nice phase. And a nice 51 from our Dwight here. And maybe, honestly, I don't know where Noah is right now, but we could actually be seeing a cleanse onto it. But never mind, we will be seeing our final stage being taken, and that will be Prism taking the set, and we'll be moving on to the finals for tomorrow.
Yeah, very, very nice sets here. Prism making this or Soma Soup Uwu making this very, very close, but that will be Prism taking the win by a whole 2 hook stages, and that's just insane to see. Just
That
these
no
survivors played
carry at
really
the
well.
end was insane.
Oh yeah, Noah did its work there. Noah, that back pocket exposed, instantly getting revealed, but that didn't matter as the totem spawn was luckily close enough for our killer to just approach it, or not approach it, hook near it and camp.
Absolutely, and once again, unfortunately, I believe Soma Soup is now officially out of the tournament. Well played from them, but unfortunately they could not just meet that one con barely. No, it came in clutch at the very end there, fortunately for Kego, so, yeah.
Absolutely
Yep, that means...
intense, crazy moment right there, guys, in the tournament. That the further we go into this tournament, the more intense moments we're getting, and that was just absolutely insane. That Spirit, I thought they were gonna, once that 4-gen was broken up, I thought that was it, and the survivors were gonna carry through, but they managed to pull it out in the end, and that was crazy. So we are gonna see FFG go forward in the tournament. Let me go over what we're gonna see tomorrow real quick, guys. So we're gonna start it off with Gamblers versus Courage at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Then following that, about 45 minutes later, we're gonna see FFG versus Prism. Then 45 minutes after the start of that, we're going to see the loser of this bracket right here coming down here and going against the winner of this bracket. So if you lose up here, you come down here, you got one more shot. If you win here, you move on to the finals of the underdog bracket, and then you'll move on up if you win this bracket. So the winner of this match right here in the starter between Gamblers and Courage, if you win, you will go on to the winner's bracket finale. And that winner's bracket finale will be, no matter what, will be best of 3. So if you've lost and you come down here and you win in the loser's bracket, in the underdog bracket, you will then no longer have a quote-unquote loss to your record once you make it to the grand finals. Because no matter what, grand finals will be best of 3. So make it out of here and you're reset. Everything is good to go. And then keep in mind, we will do the best of 3 sets. So it'll be 3 matchups potentially, minimum 2 matchups between the winner here and whoever emerges from our underdog bracket. So we got a lot of exciting stuff for tomorrow. In the meantime, we are going to cut back to a regular Thunder Gun stream for the rest of the day before we get going with the tournament stuff for tomorrow. I will have the schedule up for tomorrow after the stream, so everybody has that. But I just wanted to go over that so everybody was aware of what to expect. And yeah, we got our championship tomorrow, guys. This is wild. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to Nugs and to Sora. Thank you so much. You guys are W commentators. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can hear some more from you guys tomorrow as well. That would be super exciting.
Oh yeah.
As long as I don't
happy.
get slandered again, man. Like, that's all that matters, bro. I hate it.
I will be slandering you.